All right, test. We got myself and the yak. Ooh. With like two
Myself and
seconds
the
left,
yak,
Font just
myself and
tried
the
to
jack.
Yair elbow. Um, dude, can you pull up the boxing feed? I just want to make sure that like we're not.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I don't think we'd be missing anything, but maybe I
I
don't
mean, they
know.
normally don't like do it at the same time. They kind of like stagger the fights. But let's see
I mean,
if they're
honestly, I
trying to
don't
go
really.
turn turn. No, there's still some women fighting, bro. These are the same women who were entering the cage ring like
What
when we
round is
start
it?
when you had me while we were playing Magic.
What round?
Toronto versus Hardy.
Who? Oh, Serrano. I think that's the co-main event. But let me look it up.
Yeah, it
Paul
probably is.
versus
Makes it.
Diaz fight card.
Yeah, it's the co-main.
Because
Main
Amanda
event, Paul versus
Serrano
Diaz
lost
after.
to Katie Taylor, who's apparently like good. Who is apparently like the best one, the best woman, just in general.
If you say so.
Dude,
Oh
she's
yeah, that makes sense. I think I heard that too.
yeah, Amanda Serrano versus Heather Hardy. Everyone said Heather Hardy would get fucked up. So let me know if she does. I need Sandhagen to win.
I think it's gonna win, dude. I mean, he just needs to not get knocked out at this point.
So I wasn't watching super quick or super in depth in round one, but in my books, Sandhagen wins round two and three pretty clearly.
I thought he won all three, dude.
Round one was
And the
closer though,
judges like
right?
round one was close, yeah, but then it's like, oh, Sanhagen got a takedown and like did stuff with it, so good enough.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, he had a takedown all the rounds.
Dude, I'm wearing my jiu-jitsu shirt to support Nate Diaz. What are the odds Nate Diaz throws like a kick or something?
I love that.
Okay, but this is what I was going to say though. Can we just appreciate how consistent Jake Paul is by fighting older guys that are smaller than him? Like, and not even in the same sport as him. Like, who did he
I
fight?
know.
Askren, who's like 42 or something, out of shape. Then he
Dude,
fought
okay, like he did beat. Yeah, but Anderson Silva was a boxer. He actually had a
I
professional
mean,
boxing fight
Anderson
before.
Silva
Yeah, I
was
feel like experience level wise, you have to give it to
Anderson
Anderson
Silva's
Silva,
his
but
best
yeah, he was
opponent,
older.
but I don't even know what weight class was that at.
I think it was the same one, 180.
Paul versus Silva weight class 186. Yeah. I mean that's his best opponent still. Like even with Nate Diaz.
That's like a legitimately impressive opponent, though.
I mean the only excuse there is that Anderson Silva's old.
But yeah, Jake Paul has been fighting for like 3 years or whatever.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not even a good
Like,
excuse.
yeah, okay, he's old, but like Anderson Silva's like a legit fighter, legit striker. Like fought professional boxer, looked really good doing it. Like
The official
I was like,
scorecards
dude,
were. God.
what do you say?
The official scorecards are for that one. All judges gave Paul the fight 278 to 73, 177 to 74. Okay, dude, can you tell me why boxing refuses to be an odd number of rounds? Like, it's all even number of rounds. It's all like 8,
Yeah,
10, or
no.
12.
Why is it? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're as concerned about a draw because like someone's gonna get knocked down at some point over 10
Yeah, that's
rounds.
that's the theory, but
Boxing.
it still feels like it would make it more of a draw. Make it a draw. Make a
I just
draw
don't think
happen.
it makes a difference when they're 10-8s involved. Like an odd number of rounds with 10-8s could be a draw as well, right?
Yeah, I guess I just don't know like how common knockdowns are. Font. Oh, dude, Font's the hometown guy. I feel for him now. Oh, dude, the crowd's chanting "Stand them up."
Stand them up. Let's hit the volume one. Tick.
That John Anik just said the crowd is chanting "Stand them up," and Jason Herzog would refuse to do so. Dude, Jason Herzog is actually my favorite referee because he never stands the fighters
Yeah.
up. He was refereeing Moreno versus Pantoja also, and he didn't stand them up, even though like there wasn't.
I think there was a heavyweight fight. There was a heavyweight fight that he kept separating the fighters on the fence because they were like both resting on the fence, basically. I'm
dude.
But that
Also,
was a while ago. I don't even remember. I don't know for sure if it was Herzog, actually. I'm pretty sure it was, though.
the other thing is though, like I'm kind of fine with lower level guys being stood up versus higher level guys like this, because lower level guys could actually just kind of be doing nothing, and also they don't. I don't know. They don't really have the tools. I mean, in theory, I'm still against it, but
Well, overall, I think Herzog's really good. I'm fine with it when it's like when it's pretty clear that both fighters are mutually agreeing. I want to rest,
yeah, that's fair.
and that's what was happening in that heavyweight fight. And like, that's the only time I've seen Herzog act on it. You know,
Yeah, if
that's
they're
like different.
seriously
If it's
doing
like,
nothing,
oh, one fighter is getting some rest because of his position, but also the other fighter is unable to move, then no, I'm not fine with people standing him
I
up.
also think it's
If both fighters
more.
are like mutually agreeing to lie on the fence, then it's yeah.
I also. Oh, dude, his corner's yelling at him.
You need to finish. You need to finish.
Oh, they're taking the audio out. Oh, dude. Anyway, speaking of audio,
Why are they taking the audio
that
out?
reminds me of what I
Why
was
is
going to
this
tell
the
you.
point?
When Derek Lewis knocked out whatever his name is, what is his name? Andrade de Lima or something, and he was throwing all of his shit into the
Diego.
crowd. Uh, John Edick, it was like, this is literally his line word for word. He's like, the Mormons are getting a lot of souvenirs tonight. Because they're in Utah. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That is pretty good. That is pretty
And then
good.
also, like, later, Bobby Green was doing his post-fight press conference, and he's like, oh, I met a Mormon girl here, and I fell in love. Bobby Green's
Yeah, I
so
know.
fucking funny.
He was talking about it on Ariel Helwani too.
Yeah, that's why Ariel asked him, because he's, like, talking about, he just made an offhand comment about meeting a Mormon. Ooh, Font going for the takedown. Interesting, though. Like, is this really the best choice to try to finish a fight?
I'm someone who needs to finish, so. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Man, if Sandhagen can finish Font here, that'd be a real big statement. Because it's one thing to wrestle fuck like the number 7 guy. It's another thing to dominate him for 4 rounds and finish him in the 5th.
But I mean, he was pretty much better everywhere. Like I think he was even winning the striking, and like he did do some damage on the ground, and you know.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And in general, I don't think that you need to have a finish to like make a statement. But in the bantamweight division, you kind of
Oh, I
do.
know
Like,
what you
let's
mean.
be honest.
Oh wow, he did actually reverse and
That was
get
a
a
that was a
takedown of his
sick
own.
takedown, dude. Holy shit, Sandhagen's
I
good.
know.
I'm actually
That
really
thing is really
happy
good.
that Umar didn't fight Sandhagen here, because I think Umar would have lost. To be honest with you, like
You think
Sandhagen's
so?
really good,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I could see it going both ways. I think it's a close fight.
right? But
I think Umar is
I
crazy
just I
good.
just
I
want to
think
see
Umar is really,
Umar.
really good.
the The thing is, like, I do think there's something to be said about fighting your way up and not just jumping into the top 5. Like Sean O'Malley
Oh
did it,
yeah.
and it took everything in his power to do it, and like we didn't really see a progression out of him. So, and
I
I
mean,
just
on your
think
initial run, you should be like feeling pretty confident about every fight you take. That's
Sandhagen
the way
looks
I
like
think.
he's about to go for a Darce. I know you're like a few seconds ahead of me. No, he didn't get it. Ooh, he keeps
Um,
trying to wrap Font's neck. Oh, there's the Darce. Oh, he's got a very good angle for it too. Sandhagen or Font's moving with him. Okay, now the angle's not good. Although
no, dude. It's like
you want to be
it
like
actually
parallel with their body. You basically want your body to be like lying on top of theirs because that's just cranking the head to the biggest angle.
well, it kind of
They're kind of yeah,
yeah.
dude. Now it's a really good angle here. And you don't need to squeeze with this position either. You just need to keep rolling with them. Okay, his head popped out.
Yeah, that was super close though.
It was super close. I mean, dude, Font's just getting outworked and out wrestled here.
Down, triangle down. DIAZ, he's still trying, he's still in the fight. Trying to do what he can. However, tonight,
Dude, try to move your thing away because you're pumping audio into the stream from the broadcast.
Oh, what the hell? I just put on my headphones. I don't even have my microphone in.
Like, here, I'm gonna mute you on the stream for now. Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I can hear you, and I don't hear any of the output anymore. It sometimes like gets picked up by the mic, and then it like hones in on that. Ooh, good shoulder position by Sandhagen.
Sandman.
Okay, dude, what do you do here? Like, let's say this is round 3, and you've just gotten wrestled for like a round and a half, and you're up Font. Obviously, you can't allow yourself to engage in the clinch and just get put down onto your back.
And you have to try to keep. I mean, Rob theoretically should be able to just stay at range and jab. That's like what his whole game is built around. So
That's what Sandhagen's game planned against, though. Rob Font's got this little trap triangle going on here, but it's not even really a trap triangle because Sandhagen has his hand on the inside. Yeah, he let it go. He's losing it. I mean, yeah, I think that's just another Sandhagen round. I think that's a 50-45 to the Sandy man.
50-45 for
the crowd's
and the man.
Oh, whatever. Dude, holy shit, Diego Lopez, though. We gotta talk about that motherfucker.
All right, dude, I'll have to go back and watch. Jeez, you're really hyping this man up.
No, it's just like, he did good against Mobsar, and then when I saw his opponent, I'm like, I thought that guy was a wrestler. And then sure enough, he does a takedown, and literally the first fucking wrestling exchange, he just jumps guillotine, and then he literally breaks his fucking arm while he's like rolling, because he had like the triangle / armbar position, you know, off his back from the takedown. Like he set it up while he was getting taken down. It was sweet. Like I actually need to go back and rewatch it simply because like how he was able to position the guy's hand from like the takedown position to a position where he can armbar it. Like I need to go back and rewatch that. And then so he's on his back and he has the guy in kind of like a triangle. It wasn't super tight, but he's like armbarring him while he's tightening the triangle, and then he like rolls to the top because I think the guy like rolled to his back. And so as he's rolling, he like simultaneously breaks his arm and the guy's tapping. So it goes from like this trap triangle position to a roll that he just gets up and the guy's like lying there with a broken arm. Like he literally just, it was like a walk-off submission. It was kind of sick.
Yeah, all three judges gave it 50-45.
God damn it, dude.
What? It's not even a spoiler.
It's a spoiler! What if there was a judge that really valued guard work? They're like, I don't know, dude. I like the cut of Font's jib. Dude, I want Corey Sandhagen to turn heel. Just be like, I don't give a fuck!
don't apologize. That's the fucking problem with these
Just turn
losers.
heel.
Turn heel. Exactly. The thing you have to do in that spot is tell the crowd to fuck off.
I know, seriously. Be like, anyone who doesn't like the way I fight can get in this cage. Just like cause a riot. And you know what? Boston
We
smells
all
like
know.
ass. Clean up your
We
fucking
all know
shit.
there's nothing more you like than watching two sweaty men roll around
Yeah.
anyway. It's
I've
like,
seen your search
all that
history.
shit.
Dude, Sandhagen said he did that with a torn tricep.
Yeah.
Dude, Ryan Hall is his coach? God damn. Is Ryan Hall retired or what? Like, remember, like, 2 years ago, he's like, oh, I want to be really active. I want to start being more active. And then it's just like, when I mean active, or when I say active, I mean not fighting. Actively not fighting. That's how I want to be active. All right, dude, sick. Okay, in terms of betting, let's see how I did. Pretty good. I'm all okay. If Jake Paul wins, I'm gonna be up 30. I'm gonna be to $30. But dude,
All right, let's switch over to Diaz and the
okay,
problem.
yeah, I
Oh,
guess we
Francis
should.
Ngannou.
The Francis
Francis
thing.
Ngannou is getting interviewed.
Oh,
I feel like boxing is forming like an anti-UFC coalition.
it always was. It always was a anti-UFC coalition. Dazin. Dude, Francis has a ring that's an octagon. That's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. I actually do feel I don't like jewelry on guys a lot, but I do think white shirt plus gold chain plus shades, is a cool look. I can give him credit for that.
What about an earring? One earring,
Yeah.
not two.
One earring can sometimes be done.
Dude,
You have to kind
okay.
of pull it off.
So
Like a stud or
guys,
whatever.
I feel like it's more acceptable for guys to be like what people used to call metrosexual, which is just like showering and shaving and like dressing well. Like, I don't know if you ever.
I think people like it now. I think women really like women at least like nicely dressed dudes.
No, yeah, I know, but it's like I
In
don't like.
style,
I
I
feel
guess.
like that was the thing while I was in college. Like, oh my god, you're metrosexual. Like you're wearing
No, yeah,
like
yeah.
skinny jeans
I
and
know
a
what you mean.
plaid shirt.
Jeans I think are still bad, but yeah.
But dude, I feel like we should make it. I feel like the next step is make it more socially acceptable for men to wear makeup.
Eh,
Like imagine
pass.
Francis Ngannou with like eyeshadow, like orange eyeshadow and like
Orange
lipstick.
eyeshadow. It looks so bad.
Orange eyeshadow, dude. What do you mean? It does look bad, but like, it's a look at least.
Dude, I just then it's like, oh, do I have to wear eyeshadow just to be like well dressed, Then I'm against
Yeah,
it.
you do.
Yeah, then fuck that.
Yeah, but come on.
Whatever increases, like I'm against all of this shit because it just makes it harder. Like I just dress like a slob now because I feel like before it used to just be considered like I dress like a normal guy. Now
The
I feel like
bar
I'm
used to
dressed like
be
a
really
slob.
low. The bar used to be really low.
Yeah,
I
the
know.
bar used to be really low, but I like it low. I want the bar to be low.
Okay, but you cannot tell me that like Francis Ngannou wearing something like that wouldn't be like a striking look. Like check this
Yeah, it
out.
would be a striking look, I guess. You're right.
I
You're
don't
right.
even
It
think
would
it would look
stick.
bad.
Eh, yeah, maybe if you do it right.
Hold on, did Prince wear let me see. Like Prince wore makeup, but he was like always kind of androgynous and stuff. I mean, obviously he wore makeup for performances and interviews, but I guess he didn't wear anything too crazy. But David Bowie did. The thing is, like, guys like
I'm
Prince,
pretty
David
sure.
Bowie, and Michael Jackson, they're all androgynous, but they're all, like, sex symbols, too.
they're also like, okay, I mean, they're rock stars. Their whole thing is like
Well,
to
even
be
Mick
eccentric
Jagger.
and like.
Like rock stars are simultaneously considered super masculine, but they also dress like super
I
flamboyantly.
don't think rock stars are considered traditionally masculine though. They're considered to be like avant-garde.
I guess, but that when people say rocks, like it depends on the context. I guess I'd say, but you're right. Like I think that people can have an idealized view of rock stars that are like, oh, this is such a masculine thing. They get all the chicks. They have tons
Yeah,
of
yeah, you're right
sex.
though.
And then they're like, but
Yeah, yeah,
also it's
that part
like
is.
you dress in like flowy robes, scarves, and wear makeup.
Did watch some of the like promotional material for this fight. It was not bad.
Did you watch the press conference?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. It was fine. Like it wasn't actively not entertaining the way some UFC press conferences are. It wasn't like great either.
Dude, the funniest thing about boxing to me, coming in as a UFC fan. By the way, since we're watching this Jake Paul thing right now in this close up, his tattoos are pretty bad, but he does have some interesting ones. Alright, I guess it's over. But dude, I always find it hilarious how much boxing just shits on their fighters. Like compared to the UFC, they insult them so much. Like even so, not to mention the one guy that's like, "Oh, I'd fuck up your brother, Nate Diaz. Like you suck so much." Like that guy's. I don't know if he's media or if they were doing a fan Q&A or whatever, but I think he said he's media. But also, it's just like even a media member asking Jake Paul, "Oh yeah, you gassed out in your last fight. So did you fix those problems?" Like, can you imagine anyone asking an MMA fighter that?
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't. I think like they have some trolls because remember like there's that one guy who would just like went up there and was like, "Oh, I can't wait for you to get knocked out" or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm saying like I don't think they have professional media members, so that's why you get some more questions like that.
Yeah, I guess. But even the broadcast shits on the fighters. Like, they just were
You
making
think
fun of
so?
Jake
Yeah,
Paul
the
and some
broadcast
other
does shit
people.
on the fighters. You're right. Broadcast does shit on fighters.
It's just crazy. Alright, why are they interviewing Francis Ngannou, though? Like, this is the thing. Like, okay, we can talk about the UFC broadcast being too long, and those are valid points. But they don't have this fucking bullshit where it's literally like hours of nothing. Hours of nothing. It's not even like they have a panel that's done studying on the fight card and they can like break down in depth what fight they're looking forward to or like go back and do a recap of the action and break that down. Dude, what? Dan Hardy's here too? What is this broadcast is crazy. Dude, Ben Askren lost everything in crypto and now he's turned into like a fascist pretty much.
Jake Paul?
Ben Askren.
Oh, Ben Askren. Oh, dude, yeah, I know he used to shill for Bitcoin a lot
Yeah.
because he thought it was like
He's like, I
a
put
tool
sixty
to
thousand
like
dollars in every year in Bitcoin.
that was
Like,
like a tool to free himself from like government tyranny and shit. Which honestly, he's not entirely wrong about. I can see it. I
like,
get it. I get
wait,
it.
what did you say?
He thought it was like because the government can control currencies too much, and like that Bitcoin was like a key to freedom. Dude, Ben Askren was always
Fucking
conservative.
stupid.
Dude, his whole thing was like, look at the. Because I remember him talking about it. He was like, look, because like the FBI froze the bank accounts of people like the truckers, the
Yeah,
Patriot trucker guys.
but what makes them think they
That's
can't just stop you from accessing Bitcoin?
because Bitcoin is decentralized. I mean, he's probably right about that. I think he's correct that the government has less control over your Bitcoin money.
I don't know.
I mean, currently yes, but I think if Bitcoin became mainstream, the government would have a way of accessing your Bitcoin
I mean,
accounts.
it's so fucking stupid. I listened to a guy call into Sam Cedar's show, who's invested in Bitcoin and like was arguing pro Bitcoin talking points, and he just was not able to make a coherent argument for it at all. It's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
if
No,
the
I
government collapses and you need to take a plane, if you need to charter a plane to Puerto Rico, you're gonna need Bitcoin. It's like, oh, so you're saying the pilot is gonna
but that's
accept
not true. I mean,
Bitcoin?
that's not true because the dollar is a global reserve currency. The dollar is pretty much good everywhere. That's like not true. Although it's true that if people lost faith in the dollar because the U.S. government collapsed, then sure.
Isn't Bitcoin
I
just for
mean,
money laundering and like crime?
obviously that's what it's like. I've assumed that's what's going to be used for a lot
Well, isn't
because,
that what it's
like I
already
said, it's
effectively being used for?
decentralized. It is, yeah, because it's decentralized and the government can't track it very easily. That's also why I'm saying Ben Askren's probably correct at
Well, also like you're not people that are gonna give you everyday things that you need money for aren't gonna accept Bitcoin. Only like other
exactly. Bitcoin is not actually a currency right now, a usable currency right now because it doesn't have like two of the three things currency needs, which are it's traded every day and it's like a way to store your value because it's too volatile.
yeah.
It's like used everywhere and it's yeah. So it's literally it's not a usable currency right now, but it's a whole separate problem. I mean, whatever. I don't even. I think they're like decent arguments for Bitcoin if you're concerned about like any government encroachment in monetary policy and like accessing your money. But, like,
Yeah, but it
I
doesn't make sense to me that you just make a new currency.
think it makes sense to have a
Like, why wouldn't
decentralized
you just
currency
push
if you're
for
like.
reform on the government control of your money? Like, it just seems like you're kicking the can down the road. It's like instead of this currency that has problems, let's make a new currency that's also going to have problems. It's like, why not just
But
try to fix.
dude, James, I'm not defending it. I'm saying the idea is that like, this is the currency the government does not have control over. So let's switch to that. That's all it is. As far as it's been thought out, I feel
Yeah,
like.
that's true. I mean, that is the idea.
Yeah.
It's a stupid idea.
I,
Um, well, what were we talking
I
about
do think it's,
anyway?
but you know, because anyway,
Oh
it
yeah,
came up because in that same thing, Ben Askren was talking about how COVID's like bullshit, and he was like, fine going to super spreader events in Wisconsin, and like, it basically just like,
I'm
he's
just
like a
listening to
relatively
this.
smart guy, I think, but I think he just like raised in a
I mean,
conservative
relatively
culture.
smart for MMA.
I mean,
So
yeah.
I'm just looking at his Twitter right now because I noticed some tweets of his. So 3 hours ago he posted, "Why are they still hiding the JFK files? That is 60 years ago. What are they hiding?" 4 hours ago he said, "Listening to Rogan and Patrick Bet David, crazy how sick of Democrats and their bullshit that he is. Seems like he might vote Republican in next election. He could be an insanely powerful force if he picked a side." 4 hours ago again he said, remember for fast you walked back your Bitcoin for a takedown when I found you at BTC 2023, even when I offered to donate to charity. I don't even know what that means at all, but it's Bitcoin. Then he says, "You're a loser on Twitter that has accomplished less than 1% of what I have in life and is getting blocked. Have a good day." Oh, the guy was just insulting him for being overweight and running a mediocre wrestling academy. Something about Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Something about Epstein. He retweeted. Oh, I think he retweeted an Elon tweet because I have Elon blocked. Something about disc golf. What was the one that I? Oh yeah, this one. When you see masked people, don't you just want to say, "Guys, it's over. Give it up already. It's freaking 2023 and we know masks never worked in the first place." I'm like, Jesus Christ, Ben. And and if you would ask Ben, he'd say that he's a libertarian, right? Like, oh,
Right,
I'm
right, right,
like
right.
live and let live. But he also gets triggered by people wearing masks in the fucking airport. Is that
I
blood?
wish I did. No. I actually did mask in all the travel. I did. I'm pretty sure. I went to Europe.
I was
That
in Mall
fucking
of
COVID.
America last week. I wore a mask there. It was like the only one.
By the way, COVID. Holy fuck, dude. That shit's not a joke. I was fucked. I was like wrecked for so many weeks after that. Like just tired, like feeling like randomly out of
Yeah.
breath and stuff. I can still sometimes hear like the crack. You know when I used to need my inhaler?
Yeah.
I've gotten that back. Like sometimes I'll like randomly just like be coughing uncontrollably and like my chest will be crackling.
Jeez, dude.
And then also my sense of taste is a bit low
Hmm.
and my sense of smell is a bit low.
I didn't get like too many of the common side effects for COVID. It just like hit me for like a week. But I didn't have
It's
like
good.
super
I mean,
bad
they're
long
different
term
strains though. Like
effects.
Europe has worse strains. That's the problem too.
That makes sense.
Europe has like more deadly strains.
Dude, Jake Paul.
Evolved more there. I'll go to the bathroom real quick.
Really?
Holy shit, the walkouts take so long.
Yeah, dude. God damn it. If Nate Diaz walked out smoking a blunt, that'd be fucking amazing. What would they do? What would they do? They wouldn't say you can't compete.
Is it even against the rules?
I think so. I think weed's banned in Texas. Dude, if Nate Diaz wins, that'd be so crazy.
No, it's like he's not going to. It's just like, oh yeah, if Nate Diaz wins, like that'd be crazy. But that's like true of any upset, I guess. It's just like when he wins, it's gonna be
I
crazy.
know, but it's just like the grander narrative around the fight. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is Jake Paul isn't even that good, so it's not like a huge victory like Rocky beating um Apollo Creed. Like how that was built to be. The problem is it's like Nate Diaz beats Jake Paul. Oh wow, congratulations. You beat up like I just love it if Logan jumped in the ring. He's like, "He's just a Disney actor. You street thug. Why would you do this to my brother?" If he just pulled that out of the bag. The guy just said it's go time? Dude, that's the fucking worst announcer slogan
No,
I've
it's
ever
the
heard.
worst. Who is this fucker? He's not Bruce
I think he's like
Buffers. brother.
He's just some like old dinosaur established in boxing. Like boxing works you until you're
Really.
literally a husk, just skin and bones. Oh yeah, shit.
One sec.
Damn it.
Are there once again? It's like at the point where the ref is like having you, yeah. At the point where the ref is having you touch gloves, there should be no one else in the ring besides the people who need to be in the ring.
And like,
Why are there
maybe
so
the
many
cameraman.
randos?
I don't even know.
That's true,
I
the
think the
cameraman.
corner was in the ring.
Yeah, like it's just weird, dude. What is with boxing? It's so weird.
It's all a clout chasing sport.
That is.
Jake's looking pretty good. He's looking good. He's got that little floating step up. You know, Nate doesn't even look that undersized. I mean, okay, I guess he does.
Also wise he does though.
How much is Nate Diaz getting paid for this fight? Do you know?
Probably a bunch.
How much would you respect Nate Diaz if he just like walked out?
A lot.
Just did. Just
They're giving up a lot of money.
Just pulled a Nick Diaz against Robbie Lawler. And just like, yeah, fuck this. It's just like walks out.
Oh, at least Nick Diaz got like badly hit.
Yeah,
I don't want
true.
Nate Diaz to just like, all right, yeah, fuck this.
Dude, what is he doing? He's already fighting like he's just done. Dude, Jake
He has like no ring. Dude, he has no ring craft. He just gets caught up against the rope so easily.
Jake Paul's just like landing punches at will.
No,
Dude, I kind of respect
Nate Diaz.
Jake Paul.
Like,
Jake Paul is like our age, basically. And he's just like watching MMA fighters. He's like, how can I fight MMA fighters and not get destroyed? Like, I know,
dude, I respect it. He like gamed the system so hard. It's crazy. Gamed the system so well.
Dude, if he just fucking finishes Nate Diaz in this first round, I'd honestly like crack up laughing. It's just like, what? All of these people are signing up for Jake Paul. Oh my god, dude. The ref, honestly, clinching should be allowed in this fight. Like, just this fight. Fuck it. Dude, Nate Diaz looks so bad. This is hilarious. Oh, I'm going to change it so people can actually see the clock on here. He looks very... Wait, is Dan Hardy
Oh,
commentating?
this fight down. Yeah, is that Dan Hardy? I was just about to ask.
Jabs and feints. He needs to
I don't know if
feint.
he's been taught it. It's so funny, like watching the main event of a boxing card, and you're like, I don't know if he's been taught jabs and feints. I don't know if he's learned it yet. It's
That was
like,
like
what?
half of
What?
boxing right there.
What are you talking about, man? That's oh, dude.
I don't know if he's been. That
What
is
a-
hilarious. Okay, dude, I actually respect the ref. He's letting them clinch a lot.
Not interfering as much. I like it.
I mean, the only way this fight's interesting is if they're allowed to clinch. Jesus Christ, that was hilarious.
I got some Nate Diaz swagger at the end of the round there. He's like
So-
strutting along.
He's like, I don't give a shit. Isn't this old man a jiu-jitsu coach?
Ah, that's so funny.
I actually wait. Okay, I
I don't know.
could be
I
wrong.
haven't seen him yet. How do you even know who he is? I haven't seen his
I-
face yet.
I thought I saw. I just thought that like the Diaz brothers trained with an old guy with white hair, that's like a jujitsu coach and like teaches them Gracie jujitsu or something. I swear. Let me look this up.
Ansley? Is this some sort of OnlyFans thing?
It's an OnlyFans competitor, I think.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I guess Nate Diaz is on it.
On Fansly.
Funny to see them advertising an OnlyFans competitor. Oh,
Yeah, Richard Perez. Oh, boxing. Oh yeah, Richard Perez. Boxing, Cesar Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Wait, hold on. Who? Let me look up Cesar Gracie then. Cesar Gracie. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. Cesar Gracie. So let me look up who Richard Perez is. Richard Perez. Damn it. I kind of wanted Jake Paul to just finish him in the. Okay, so Richard Perez is boxing. So that's the guy with the white hair. So he's a boxing coach. I thought that'd be so funny
Alright.
though if his jiu-jitsu.
that'd be fun. That would be hilarious. He just got his jiu-jitsu coach. Jiu-jitsu coach like, well, you know, you can always shoot a double leg, you know.
Yeah.
Got his hands up here. Right. The ref did separate a clinch.
Look at how high his hands are. You can do a double leg. There you go. I really do think boxing would be more interesting if clinches were allowed more.
Actually, Nate Diaz is doing pretty good at the clinch.
I know, he's not doing
He
bad.
actually is. He's like landing some shitty shots that probably don't hurt much, but he's not getting hit.
His little left uppercuts are landing. Look at dude. His
What is he
left hooks are
doing? He's
landing.
like looking away from Jake Paul into the crowd.
He's trying to pull a Max Holloway, looking at the commentary while saying, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby." Dude, what? Jake Paul's clinching more than Diaz is.
That actually landed well.
Fucking
Okay.
troll of a
Dude,
referee.
okay, round 2 has been pretty fucking good. I know, this
Paul's
referee
already
looks so
gassed. Look at
funny.
his mouth. Also, why are they both wearing black and white trunks?
No, it's so funny because like their shorts like colors on the side are like
By their
the only way of
names.
differentiating it is like who has more white versus who
Yeah.
has more black in
Dude,
there.
it's so dumb. Out of all of the color combinations, they both pick black and white.
I do kind of like Diaz's shorts, to be honest.
Yeah, they're clean.
Good, they look good.
Dude, Nate Diaz is doing good this round.
No, dude, I'm
Jake
actually
Paul
kind of
looks
impressed. I thought he was just gonna be getting wrecked the whole fight and like getting 10 years worth of CTE on him.
Dude, Jake Paul's doing better in the clinch than Nate is. Like, if this was MMA, he had a pretty good overhook there. He could have pulled guard. Okay, dude. Jake Paul should probably retire. Okay, if he wins this fight, he should retire or maybe box KSI, get knocked out, and then retire. Because, like, he's just not a good boxer. Like, he can throw punches fine, but he's just not putting it together well. Like, he's not able to I don't know, man. It just doesn't look like I'm not a boxing expert, but
I mean, yeah, no, this round's looked so bad. I don't know if like why are they squirting water down his shorts? Okay, whatever.
Derek Lewis shows up.
Eric Lewis.
it just okay.
Yeah, I don't
This is
know. That's
why
weird.
I don't like how he fights because to me it looks like when he's in the perfect range, he's able to throw punches well. But when he's not in that range, he's just kind of doesn't know what to do. Like when he just
Yeah,
like clinches. It looks
sure.
like he kind of panics and clinches. It's like you know that anime Demon Slayer?
No, no. Why are you? What does that have to do with anything?
Well, there's an anime, and in that anime, okay, who the fuck is this little brat kid? In the anime, there's this character who like, because they learn all of these techniques, but this character only knows one technique, and he can only do that technique, and so like, if he doesn't have the perfect spot for it, he just fucking sucks, and that's what it looks like. Jake Paul is too. Like he just doesn't look like he's a natural boxer. Dude, look at what they're sponsored by. Better
Them to move.
Better Picks or whatever. Like, it's just like a betting company. Celsius, an energy drink that's like hyper caffeinated. And then Fansly. It's like the scum of the fucking earth is sponsoring them. It's like addictive substances you can put in your body, addictive mental substances you can consume, and then just betting, which is fucking toxic. It's literally like drugs, prostitution, and gambling. All of the like the worst fucking aspects of mankind from the beginning of civilization. Mando White says Nate is going get him all wore out. I box and he ain't no boxer. Dude, you agree Jake Paul isn't a good boxer? I just don't think he's that good. Like I watched Crawford
He's
Spence.
not that good, but like he's good enough. Like
No, but
I don't know what
think he's
what
getting
people
any
mean
better.
anymore.
I don't think he's getting better.
Okay, sure, but like okay, I don't really care. Like he's pretty good. He's doing pretty good.
I could outbox him. No, I probably couldn't. But maybe I could if I trained. I don't know. But if I did MMA, oh dude, did you see that? Nate Diaz just fainted, and Jake definitely like bit on it. What is
Well,
Diaz
I love how
doing?
Jake Paul is like pausing while Nate Diaz is wiping
Dude,
his
it's because he's
face off,
tired.
or
He
whatever the
doesn't know
fuck
what to
he's doing.
do. I'm telling you, he's a little dumb kid. He's so unsure of himself in there.
Dude, all right, man.
Papa, do I punch now? Do I punch Papa? Dude, why is this guy in our comment section, Mando White, saying net? He's not net. He's not a net. He doesn't catch fish and dogs.
God damn it, dude. Jake Paul has so much more money than me. It makes me depressed.
Dude, it's fine. Just say that he's white and that's why.
All right, that's a good excuse.
But that makes me depressed now. But dude, he was also on the fucking
That was your
Disney
excuse.
Channel. So like, what do you want? What do you want, man?
Yeah, I know.
You should have been the token Indian on like on a Disney Channel kids show.
No, he needs to be a token Indian in the fucking sitcom or some shit.
Yeah, like
Fucking
literally.
nerdy friend.
I think
His only personality is like being good at math.
this show.
It's pretty close to what I was anyway.
No,
in real
being
life.
good at math and also being like a nerd for India. Like I think the Big Bang Theory is like, oh, in India we like I don't even know what they do. Oh, I just went back to India, and everyone laughs because it's like, oh, you went to India? That's hilarious. An Indian guy.
That was actually a pretty good uppercut in that highlight, I gotta admit.
No, dude, Jake Paul is throwing good punches.
Like he's fine, dude. He's pretty good. He actually has some good wins too. I don't even know what we
That's
can
what
say.
I'm saying.
Like
Like
Tyron
he
Woodley
can
was a good
throw
win.
good punches.
Listen,
He can throw good punches, but he can't put together a game plan. He just like shuts down. Like when Nate Diaz pressures
That's super high level. I just think that's really high level. Like,
Maybe.
yeah, most boxers
I
can't.
guess like
I don't know.
But I wonder if there's a difference between him not being able to put together a game plan and he has one, and he just like doesn't have a game plan. I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. I don't know boxing at all. Okay?
I don't know much about boxing either. I just like.
I think Nate's lost
I think honestly,
the first 3
Nate Diaz
rounds.
is doing pretty well. Pretty well compared to the rest of Jake Paul's opponents.
This is all that, yeah. I mean, this is all that people expected Nate Diaz to do, right? Just like eat punches and walk him down.
Land some shitty
Nate
punches.
Diaz hasn't lifted. Okay, there it goes. He lifts his hands up there. Nate Diaz walked towards him with his hands down, puts his hands up, and Jake waits for him to put his hands up and then punches. Why are they interviewing someone while the fight's happening?
I know, dude.
What is this DAZN broadcast? It's so bad.
I think this is the equivalent of Din Thomas
Yeah,
on
Dean Thomas.
in the UFC.
Did they pipe it through the official broadcast audio?
Yeah, they did.
Anyway,
He was giving advice.
I think Diaz.
Dude, why is boxing? Okay, tell me this. Why is boxing advice always throw more jabs? Like, no matter what the situation, the advice is literally always throw more jabs, throw more jabs, throw more
That's like
jabs.
half of the punches that they use in
Is this
boxing.
the entire fucking sport? Just throw more jabs?
Diaz is doing good this round. It's probably his best round. Diaz is just like, my defense is my face. Dude,
Also, the DS lore keeps growing. Before the broadcast and some pre-fight thing, Ariel Helwani was telling some dude about how Nate Diaz like runs triathlons for fun.
yeah.
Now I think it's the same dude on the broadcast, and he's like, he runs decathlons. Like, that's gonna turn to like it's like triple marathon. That's gonna keep the.
Dude, holy shit. Diaz landed some good ass punchies there. He's throwing punchies and bunchies. Oh my god. Come on, you stupid ass ref.
What is he doing? Holy shit! Let him fucking get back together.
No,
Don't
that's
let Jake
not
Paul
a
recover.
separation of the. Oh, maybe it's a headbutt. They are. Nate Diaz is kind of headbutting Jake Paul.
I respect it, honestly.
I respect it too.
Boxing's
Dude,
tools are so limited.
who was the guy that threw an elbow in a boxing fight that Ariel was talking about?
KSI, but that was like an accident apparently.
Oh yeah, KSI. Was it an accident though?
I never actually watched it.
Okay. Do you think that the fact they're using boxing gloves makes it harder for Nate Diaz's cuts and scar tissue to get opened up again?
Yeah, logically, right? Probably less hard edges and like sharper plasticky
Yeah,
edges.
I'd imagine so. I think you're right.
What? We're in the middle of a fight. What's going on?
Maybe they're taking a break.
What?
Who's that little bastard kid with the like
Blue cap?
squirrel tail
He just
coming out of his
dabbed.
head?
He just dabbed for the camera.
God, dude, I hate everyone that goes to boxing. They're all
Why
clown
are we
chasers.
watching this right now? Why are we in the
Why
middle
are
of the
we
fight
watching
and
a guy with a
completely?
rolled up condom on the top of his head, speaking into the
What the
microphone?
fuck? They're literally taking the cameras off the fighters and putting it on this fucking fatso. What is happening?
He's literally just a guy in the crowd too. He's not. I don't, dude. He's so stupid. Boxing is all about clout chasing. Look at.
Boxing is so clout chasing.
Even
All the
more
like
than
women.
MMA.
You know, boxing's on a different level.
Like, dude, whenever a coach in MMA speaks up at all, people are so quick to like pound them back down into the dirt. Like, oh, what are you doing? You shouldn't be taking the limelight. But the coaches in this sport are literal characters that like enter into beefs consistently. Dude, Diaz is tired. Dude, Nate Diaz is just like shut down now.
No, dude, did Nate Diaz gas out or what? What's going on?
Well, he got hit with a body shot. Like a pretty hard body.
I thought he was like showboating there when he was like faking And he like all of a sudden stood back up. Oh!
Nice. Right on the temple. I mean, dude, he's literally like running at him like a bull. Did you pay for the
Works
pay per
against Nate
view, or is
Diaz.
there a bootleg website? Dude, I totally paid for the pay per view.
Loyal customers of DIAZ Boxing.
I'm a loyal customer of DAZN. Actually, it's on ESPN. Dude, okay, look at the way Nate Diaz is like walking towards him, and whenever he attacks, he's attacking just in a straight line. So like, and he's pretty much blitzing in. He's putting up his hands and just like bowling forwards. Like, of course, Jake Paul can just step to the outside and counter it. It's like pretty. I mean, that's like textbook countering, right? Just like cut an
Yeah.
angle, throw a punch. What? You're saying Jake is slowing down?
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta give Dan Hardy props for like getting this commentary gig. This is totally like MMA taking over boxing. I mean, I guess it's not even really taking over boxing because it's like a clown show.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
like
kind of a clown show, but
MMA getting sucked into like this pseudo boxing world. Look at this! It's the exact same shot. What? What is happening, dude?
I want to see a highlight of that fucking shot that landed and
It's
knocked
the
Nate
exact same
Diaz
thing that he's
down.
doing all the time. He's putting his hands forward, making a guard, and then like running forward and trying to crash into him with his guard.
It's
They're not going to show you a replay. They're going to show you some fat bastard wearing an audacious
with the rolled
hat.
up condom. Oh, I wonder how many times Nate Diaz has been dropped, though. I mean, he has an iron chin.
Damn, Nate Diaz actually landed a pretty good jab there. No, he didn't. What are they talking about? He used his
Took like
movement.
several. He took like 30 seconds after to fully recover.
What do you mean?
Nate Diaz wasn't ready to go.
Like when the ref started the fight, it was 30 seconds?
No. Like the fight was going, but he wasn't really throwing for like a solid 30 seconds
Oh,
after he
okay.
got knocked down. Surviving.
I know, but he's like not really throwing at all during the fight, so. He only really throws when they're in the clinch.
Oh, dude. You're right. Jake, you're actually completely right. Jake Paul has really good punches when they're at the perfect range to throw punches.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know what to do in this scenario, and then he like does it.
I guess that makes sense for how long he's been training. Honestly, I feel like it's a lesson in like effective training strategy that is focused on the parts of boxing they need to learn first. That got him good enough to get some good fights quickly.
Well, yeah, and like obviously knowing what to do in different scenarios comes with experience. I'm just saying, like, it's noticeable that it sometimes looks like he doesn't know what's going on. Dan Hardy with the stellar knowledge. You should not take punches
Never a
with your
good
face.
idea.
Later rounds. How long is this fight anyway? 3-minute rounds? So it's 30 minutes of fighting, but with like essentially 9 breaks in between.
Yeah. A lot of fighting, dude.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I feel like boxing is I mean, this is clearly just because I'm coming from MMA. But it always seems to me like boxing is designed to get. How do I like inject the most CTE in the sport as possible? I know. Let them rest for longer, but then they have like 30 minutes of fighting time.
Yeah.
You have to realize even prelims, their standard is like 10 rounds, right? 8 rounds is only like what these guys
No,
have been
their
doing.
standards isn't 10 rounds. I think it's 8. I think
Even on the
like a lot
prelims?
of like high pros is like 10 rounds and then like title fights is 12. I kind of want to see Nate Diaz just fight like a real boxer to see how easily he'd get finished. Because his boxing sucks. All
Oh,
right.
let's see. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been keeping track of the rounds. I also don't know how you keep 10 rounds in your head, frankly. But yeah, I haven't been keeping track, so
That was round
assuming Jake Paul is
6.
ahead.
So there's 4 more. 7, 8, 9, 10.
I know that's the one thing about boxing though. Like you can't have your own opinion of the score as you're watching the fight. It's impossible. Actually, it's
Well, dude,
impossible.
I don't think Nate's
So
won any round or even been close to winning any rounds. But in general, I agree with you. Where is this fight taking place? Oh, Texas.
okay, the commentator is Diaz winning 1 round.
What? What? What round?
I don't know.
But yeah, Jake
Yeah, one
Paul got
round
a
he looked good in.
knockdown, so it's essentially what, like 7?
Essentially 7-10. Because Diaz won 1 round, but Jake Paul got a knockdown in one.
Yeah.
Just the ref crashed into Jake Paul. Nice.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why are they saying Jake Paul doesn't know how to win on the scorecards? He literally that makes no sense.
Didn't he win both Tyron Woodley fights by decision?
He won. He knocked Tyron Woodley out in one fight, but then he decision Anderson Silva. He went to a decision with Tommy Fury. It looks like he's gonna go to a decision with Nate Diaz. He's been winning all of these rounds. Like how? How do they say?
I don't know. Who cares? Who cares?
No, I'm
Don't
just
even
wondering.
think
Like,
about it.
what
Don't
gives
even
them
like
the
fucking.
idea to say Jake Paul doesn't know how to win by decision? He only knows how to win by like entertainment. It's like what has he done that's made you think that at all? Dude, I don't know if I have like a super low attention span or
I didn't. I think
I
he's.
just don't like boxing, but it's like, okay, we're halfway through the 7th round and I'm kind of tired of this shit.
Boxing just sucks, dude. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've been
It's just
doing some other
boring.
fucking
Like
work.
they've done the same thing for 9 rounds. There's no progression or anything.
Yeah. Appreciate and respect the stamina. Dude, that's like the one thing boxers need. But I respect that. That's their entire fucking job.
What, to have stamina? Yeah, dude,
Yes.
I don't like it when people are like, "Wow, this one professional athlete has such good cardio."
I know. It's
It's like,
like,
"Oh, well, he has
yeah.
well, like they're losing, but they're like, "Well, at least they have good cardio." It's like, yeah, but they're losing the thing
like
like, what are you comparing it to?
they're not training for a marathon. They're training for a fight, and they're losing the fight.
Well, also when they compare it to like the people watching at home, when like they're like, "Oh, you
I
shouldn't
know.
criticize the person for doing this because like they're such a good athlete." It's like, oh,
No, yeah. It's like, what are you talking about? Of course,
I'm not.
the standard for them is higher.
It's not. I'm not saying that they're bad compared to me. I'm saying they're bad compared to the level that they're competing at. It's just so dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll give that round to Nate Diaz. Just because I feel like he won it.
Sure, dude.
Honestly,
Whatever you
this fight should have been
say.
8 rounds because I don't. It's just boring. Like, come on,
All,
let's get it
all
over
boxing
with.
fights should be 8 rounds because they're bad.
Dude,
Boxing fights are bad.
Yeah, boxing fights are bad. Well, dude, I feel like we got the best out of boxing with like Fury versus Wilder 3. When like Fury knocked him down, he got knocked down, and then it was like a TKO at the end. It's like, okay, that had knockdowns back and forth, good, like top level fighting, actual good game planning from Tyson Fury. And it's like, okay. Anyway, okay, I'll give Nate Diaz that round. They showed in a replay a good combination he landed. Damn, dude. I honestly thought Jake Paul would be able to hurt Diaz more than this. Like, he's landing less than I thought he would, and he's also just hurting him less with the shots that he's landing.
Yeah. I think it's just because Diaz is closing the distance more than Jake Paul is used to.
He's just like
This is like
crushing his
pressuring forward
punches.
a lot.
I
Yeah,
think
like,
Jake Paul should be
crowding
going
him.
for the body way more. You're not gonna knock him out.
Yeah, to the body.
Yeah, 82 to 122. Like, I don't know. 1.5 more strikes landed doesn't seem that good. Or I guess not 1.5 more, but like 1.5.
Diaz is literally just gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't get knocked out, so I won." It's like Diaz's
Of course
thing.
he's gonna say that. He's gonna be like, if there was another 5 rounds, I'd win. And you know what? I believe him. In this sport, I believe him because like in MMA, like he could just get, I don't know, he could get choked out. Like Leon Edwards, like Nate Diaz kind of had no hope of beating Leon Edwards because Leon was controlling him on the ground.
Yeah.
But like Jake can't just keep walking backwards forever. And obviously it's a stupid thing to talk about, but
To be honest, though, like even before the fight, he was like, "Oh, no matter what happens in the boxing match, the guy can't really fight."
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he basically he knew what was gonna happen going in.
Well, dude,
You know.
I do have to give Diaz credit. Like he's doing better in these later rounds. Like this was his game plan. This is why he wanted 2 more rounds. Like I thought he won the last round. I think he's winning this one. And dude, the thing is, boxing does score ring generalship or whatever, mastership or whatever.
Ringcraft.
Ring
Ring feudalism. Yeah, it's called ringcraft. It's like my ring. It's like an autocracy for the ring.
It does support the one ring that rules them all. That's how it scores it. So, dude,
Oh my god, I don't know why I find it so
Diaz
funny.
is actually landing some
Dude,
punches.
is Diaz gonna win? Did Diaz just like headbutt him at the end there? That was great.
Headbutted him. He's like, "Fuck you, man! Give me my dude."
And the ref is telling him off, and Diaz is like, "All right."
Jake Diaz wins. He has to light up a blunt. Like if he finishes Jake Paul.
Oh
in the
my
10th
god, that would
round,
be fucking
he
amazing.
has to light one up. That'd be so sick, dude. You know what? If Diaz wins, they need to do Diaz. They need to have Diaz fight in Minnesota because Minnesota just legalized weed.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
ago, they had like a legalization party with. You know what? I was driving home from work and I was listening to the radio, and they're like, "There was a legalization party in Minneapolis with Ilhan Omar and Jesse Ventura." Because he's the former governor.
Jesse Ventura is actually like based, by the way. Did you
yeah.
know that?
Jesse Ventura is. I don't know too much, but I heard like he was running kind of third party, and the only way he got like a lot of support is because he, in a debate, he was like saying some based shit like against the two like corporate politicians that the other parties put up. All right, dude, Diaz is doing a rope-a-dope. He's gonna get the fight stopped.
How about the legs at this point?
You gotta dig in. Dude, remember when Diaz almost knocked out Leon Edwards? He just laughed and pointed at him. Like, he didn't actually chase the finish at all. So, don't expect him to do that in Jake Paul either.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even have that much more time anyway.
He's got like 5 minutes.
Gilbert Melendez?
Yes, with Ariel Helwani interviewing him, why are they just interviewing random fans watching?
It's so distracting while you're watching the fight. It's so bad.
It's basically admitting boxing is like fucking bullshit.
I know.
We know that you're getting bored of this. Here's a guy in the crowd. It's not even a boxing.
Exactly. Of course, it's Gilbert Melendez, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, Diaz is doing great, actually." So stupid.
What is the PCT?
Percent thrown, percent landed out of the ones thrown.
In round 8? I don't... Yeah, whatever.
That's so narrow, yeah, just round 8. The problem is, like, the individual rounds start to blur. That's the main problem in boxing for me.
Or Diaz just...
I can't follow along the fight very well.
It's too many rounds.
I can't follow on the fight and think of what's happening now in the context of the whole fight. All I can do is just watch the fight as it's occurring and like try to enjoy it.
Diaz landing a few uppercuts there. That was nice. Diaz just needs to do more.
Oh my god, Dan already talking about the moral victory.
Diaz is so dumb. His whole game plan is, I'm going to tire you out because I have like the best cardio and the best chin. But like, he needs to actually force Jake Paul to get tired out by doing a hurry-up offense on him. He can't just walk slowly towards him, like, take 5
I know,
seconds
that's the
to
thing.
reset.
That's the thing. He has good cardio and chin, but he doesn't actually have the skill to push the pace.
Well,
To weaponize
you
his
don't even
cardio.
need the skill to push it. But what you can't do is just sit there and slowly walk towards him. You have, like, remember Usman versus Edwards in their rematch? And then basically... my analysis afterwards, like, yeah, Usman was able to like utilize his cardio advantage in their second fight in Utah because of the elevation, but in this he wasn't actually able to make Edwards tired through his wrestling, and so his cardio advantage never came into play. And like, it's the same thing here. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You don't just automatically get to leverage better cardio. You have to make your better cardio count. To make your cardio count, you know?
Anyway, I'll give Nate Diaz the last like 3 rounds. Maybe he'll win on the scorecard.
Really? I don't know. I guess I have no idea. To be honest, I have no fucking clue.
Dude, I think you can... The commentary's like, look at Nate Diaz pretending to get knocked out. That's so entertaining.
Alright, this is the last round. I think Nate Diaz has got to
thank
get a
God.
finish. What is he doing?
I don't know, dude.
Why is he looking out the ring like that? He was literally like talking to someone or something, man. What's going on? That time Jake actually like punished it.
Dude, he's pulling the Kevin Holland. He's like, I don't really care about this fight.
Yeah, he's doing the Kevin Holland.
I'm not mad if I lose. Anyway, give me my fucking $2. Or not $2, my 50 cents. For betting on Paul.
And every time I watch a boxing match, I regret it so much. I stop doing this shit.
Dude, I regret regret it too. This is so bad. I just want Jake Paul to, like, I don't know, stop fighting. Ooh, who won? Jeremy Stevens was
Yeah,
boxing
fair.
today. Why? Who wants to see these two guys fight in MMA? Dude, it's just so dumb. Like, I thought Nate Diaz looked like shit against Tony Ferguson. He was doing the same bullshit against Tony Ferguson. And now we're going to see Jake Paul fight MMA? Like, Jake... Dude, watching... Oh, apparently Jeremy Stevens got, like, fucked up by Chris Avila. That's funny.
How you beat Nate Diaz, right? You don't beat this game.
What is playing his game?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Dude, Nate Diaz can throw good punches when he goes for it. He just, like... Again, it's dumb. Dude, the referee is literally trying to separate them, and Jake Paul refuses to get separated. What is going on here? They just wasted 10 seconds. They just wasted 15 seconds trying to get separated by the referee. It's like a sixth of the round. I guess a 12th. Is it overall a good outing? In terms of boxing skill, it's a good outing for him. I don't know what makes him say that.
I don't fucking know. Is it guillotine?
Guillotined him!
And now that's gonna be his moral victory. Oh, I guillotined him in the 9th round, so I actually won.
That's hilarious. He should go for the guillotine again. Pull guard!
Just throw it. Just throw a takedown. Shoot a takedown.
No, dude, pull guard. Wow, I never would have guessed.
Entertaining.
I never would have fucking guessed they go the distance. Holy shit, dude. This fight fucking sucked. Dude, I guess, like, I don't understand the appeal. I mean, for, like, watching low-level quality guys fight. Like, people shit on it all the time in the UFC. Like, oh, Jim Miller's on the main card again? He's so old and shitty. Oh, no one ranked his fighting in MMA? And then they'll turn around and, like, watch Jake Paul and Nate Diaz and be like, this is one of the biggest boxing fights of the year.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if those people complaining would watch it. There's a spectacle aspect
like
to this.
Ariel Helwani and Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell.
Yeah. I want to see a replay of the guillotine attempt.
Attempted.
He keeps calling it a guillotine too. Guillotine. Seriously, bro. Yeah, dude, Jake Paul is a pretty good gas tank.
Yeah, I didn't
blame
think he
him.
lost to Tommy Fury. Says the guy watching it. Dude, what do you want from me? God damn, you don't have to call me out for watching this bullshit. I complain about it. Here, I'll show you guys the highlights so this stream won't get taken down. See, look at the ref.
What?
I want to show the people the ref. Show the people what they want. The little... Dude, honestly, though, the ref is kind of fucked up. Guys, you cannot tell me that you're excited to watch Jake Paul box or do more MMA. 97 to 92, so one judge gave Diaz 3 rounds and two judges gave him 2 rounds.
I mean, dude, he just didn't. Nate Diaz just didn't. All I had to do was not get finished, basically, and he was gonna be fine.
Wait, what?
All Nate Diaz had to do was not get finished.
I don't know, dude. Like, yeah, not get finished, but it would have been cool if he won. Like, dude, Nate Diaz is pretty much done. All I'm saying is, if he beat Jake Paul and then went back into MMA, that could actually be an amazing fight. With
Yeah, no,
whoever he
yeah, it
comes
would
back in terms of like hype for it and fame. But like, no one's gonna want to fight Nate Diaz anymore, especially with the bullshit he was pulling and like not actually going for a win. Like, he just straight up wasn't going for a win. He's like walking around, like flicking off the crowd. Dude, holy shit, that's so claustrophobic. Why do they have so many different cameramen inside the cage or the ring or whatever? Why does Logan have?
That's like he keeps saying that. Boof, you're a virgin. Boof, you're a virgin.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't
god,
know.
it's so
Maybe
it's just
weird.
so
It's like,
weird. I mean, yeah, that's just their like, that's their fucking. That's his
I
like.
guess his fans are a bunch of kids, so
That's what I'm saying. It works for his fans, right?
I guess just feels like he's attacking them for no reason.
Probably do be good, yeah.
Okay, so he's calling him out in MMA. I don't know if you're still watching it.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm interested. Sure, whatever. Just like gonna keep doing like crazy stuff until it doesn't stops working, right?
That's why are they like promoting the fact that he guillotined him?
Oh yeah, brother.
Dude, okay, whatever. I mean, this is the biggest fight for both of them. What is going on, dude? They dropped the camera.
Fuck, I missed that. Did they drop the camera?
They were like jostling for position because there's literally 100 people in the fucking ring, and they dropped the camera and had to cut to a different camera. This is a fucking joke. What, dude? Holy shit! Why can't boxing get their own head out of their ass and get their act together?
It's amazing.
Also, why is Logan Paul wearing a life jacket? Did he just come in after water skiing? Just call out KSI, you fucking idiot. Just get it over with. Cash it out.
Oh my god, alright, I don't care.
Jake Paul
What's
is so overrated in terms of his promotional abilities. His post-fight interviews suck. Can you remember one memorable thing he's ever said in his post-fight interviews? Or in any interviews? Like, he's just
dude,
annoying. And he, like, gets people to be mad about him. But can you remember like a single memorable line he said?
Oh, he doesn't have any good lines. He's not actually clever, dude. Dude, to have good lines, you need to be clever.
But he's not even following the playbook that people have basically written on how to like promote a fight. Like he doesn't have a call out. Like I guess he called out Nate Diaz, but he doesn't even have a call out in boxing. So that tells me he's like pretty much done with boxing. Jesus Christ, why are they interviewing Logan Paul? Oh my. Also, is there really no one more, charismatic than Ariel to do these post-fight interviews? Like, why is he doing that? He made Logan Paul laugh. Okay, dude. I mean, I actually think Nate Diaz would like beat him in MMA, but again, we saw Diaz versus Ferguson, and it wasn't a good fight.
I don't even fucking know. Maybe. I'm not even gonna like say for sure.
Dude, of course he's gonna beat him. How would he not beat him?
Let's strike him, defend takedowns.
Dude. He couldn't stay out of the clinch in boxing. You think he's gonna stay out of the clinch in MMA?
Let's defend takedowns.
If he gets clinched up, he's getting choked. I don't know, man. Boxing sucks. The broadcast sucked. Dude, the broadcast was really bad. Like, just stupid mistakes that they made. It's just like such easy.
The broadcast was really bad. The broadcast was quite bad. Not gonna lie.
But dude, the MMA card was actually pretty fun. Let me see. The MMA card was good. Let me pull up the list. Dude, Corey Sandhagen. We need to actually talk about Corey Sandhagen. First of all, Jessica Andrade got choked out in the second round. I want to see if she won the first round. When did you start watching it? Start watching the card?
When did I start watching the broadcast?
Yeah.
I just watched like I basically when I said like wanna call, that's when.
Billy Quarantillo.
Watch a little bit of Ludwig Klein too though.
Fun. That was a crazy ass fight. Billy Quarantillo basically got wrestle fucked the first round, and then round 2, Damon Jackson would clinch with him, and in like the 50-50 clinch position, and they were kind of just like moving all around the cage. Quarantillo just kept pounding an uppercut into Damon Jackson's body, and he landed like 50 strikes to his body in the second round. And then he just kind of like fucked him up from there. But like, that's a perfect example of a hurry up offense that works. Billy Quarantillo just like will just go after you until you start getting exhausted. But you need to like set it up with body shots like that. Like you need to set yourself up into a position to take advantage of the cardio advantage. Carlson Harris versus Jeremiah Wells. That was hilarious. Kyler Phillips looking good against Ione Barcelos. Gassed out in the third round, but knocked him down in the first. Did pretty well. The third round was close. He won it on one of the judges' scorecards. Ignacio Bahamondes. I thought that guy was good, but he's not. I don't know, man. He did not look that good. Tanner Boser with a good win over Alexa Kammer. Diego Lopez did good shit. Dustin Jacoby just like pretty easily knocking out Kennedy and Zechiku. Dude, Dustin Jacoby gets no respect. He's always an underdog in these fights. He's like actually a good kid.
That's weird. I actually have no idea why. No idea why either. I have no idea why either.
I don't know either. Tatiana Suarez 10-9 to Andrade in the first round on all of the judges' scorecards and then choked her out in the second. So, like, Andrade is probably done. Unless, like, she's like 31, so that's not even that old. But in terms of how good she was relative to the competition, she's way out of her prime. And I don't see her, like, doing well unless she makes a pretty dramatic change. And then, yeah, 50 to 45 on all judges' scorecards for the Corey Sandhagen Rob Font. Dude, remember Sandhagen versus Cheeto? Didn't one judge give Cheeto 4 of those rounds?
I think you're right about that.
So, like, there wasn't any of that bullshit this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's slightly better this time.
Marlon Vera 48-47. Rounds 4-5,
Yeah.
3-4-5. That was crazy. Dude, okay. I actually want to talk about... So, in terms of fights that you should watch that you missed, just watch Diego Lopez. It's short. It's fun. Other shit... I guess you don't really need to watch anything else. But maybe if you want to watch Kyler Phillips. But I want to look up...
I think Kyler Phillips was suspended for steroids.
Oh, he's back. He was suspended.
I was already back. Kind of quick.
Okay, so dude, Corey Sandhagen's ranked number 4. He just beat number 7, who is Rob Font. 6 is Marlon Vera. 5 is Piotr Jan. Above Corey Sandhagen is Henry Cejudo, who pretty much has like admitted he needs another fight before he fights for the title. Then number 2 is Sean O'Malley, who's fighting for the title. Number 1 is Merab. I think Sandhagen should fight for the belt next. Like, dude, look at the guys he's beaten. He beat Song Yadong, who's 8, Marlon Vera, who's 6, and Rob Font, who's 7. So he beat 6, 7, 8. And, like, the guys above him are... they're, like, pretty much booked or they're inactive.
Yeah, I think he should just get the... I mean, he's got a really good win streak. 3-fight win streak against, like, all the top-level competition. Yeah, I think he should get a title shot after Sean O'Malley.
Let's game this out. What happens if Aljamain Sterling wins against Sean O'Malley?
Andy a rematch, and then honestly, I think Sandhagen will beat Aljo. So we've got Sandy a rematch, and then a trilogy fight.
No, dude. What? No. Aljamain said he's gonna move up to featherweight.
Yeah, but if it's like 2-1-1.
No, Aljo said he's gonna move up to featherweight. I think he moves up if he beats Sean.
Oh, right then and there. Okay, fair enough.
Because remember,
Yeah,
he also said he wants Merab to be the champion. You think he's gonna like hold up the division in a trilogy fight for another like year and a half while Merab's the number 1 contender?
You're right.
Like, I think if Aljo wins, he goes to featherweight, and then you could do Merab versus Sandhagen for the belt.
Sean O'Malley wins. Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I like that too. I mean, I'm hoping for that outcome, honestly. That's
I think they should do Merab versus Cejudo or... I think they should do Merab versus Cejudo or Umar. And honestly, like, the only reason because I said earlier I was happy that Umar wasn't fighting Sandhagen, but the only reason I want him to fight Merab is because I think he actually has a better chance of beating Merab than he does against Sandhagen.
And man, yeah,
Anyway,
fair enough.
Okay, true or false? Corey Sandhagen's next fight is a title fight.
I think so, true. How can you justify doing anything else? Like, unless they just really ice him out, and Sandhagen, because they know Sandhagen's just gonna fight regardless, right? Sandhagen's not gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna wait out for a title fight.
The only one he'd really, But you have to ask yourself, like, who would they want him to fight? Like, he's really popular. He's headlined. I think in his last 3 fights, he headlined against Song Yadong, he headlined against Marlon Vera, and he just headlined against Rob Font. Like, the UFC's really promoting him. I don't think they're gonna try to like throw all of that to waste. But like, you have to ask yourself, who will they put him up
Makes
against?
sense.
They're not gonna put him up against Umar because that was the fight that he just did. The only other name is Marab. I don't think they're gonna have him fight Marab unless it's for a title. Let me ask you this: the 4 people above Sandhagen at bantamweight is Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, Marab, and Sterling. Out of those 4, who do you think is the like? Give me the best matchup for Sandhagen and give me the one that you're most interested in. Like what you think would produce the best fight.
Wait, repeat the options again.
Cejudo at 3, O'Malley at 2, Marab at 1, and then Sterling as the champion.
Like, you're saying which are the top 3 title fights you want to see, right? Which is the best 3 contenders?
Like, what do you think is A, the best matchup for Sandhagen out of those 4, and B,
okay.
What do you think is like the most interesting fight? Like, what are you most interested in seeing?
I'm really interested in seeing Sandy versus Sean O'Malley. Like, come on, dude, crazy striking in that fight. I guess Sandhagen will just take Sean O'Malley down probably.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I think that's the easiest matchup for him because he just takes him down. I think
Yeah,
Sandhagen
fuck, you're
versus,
right.
Cejudo would honestly be the most interesting fight. Because Cejudo's a really good striker and a good grappler, like not easily taken down. But man, Marab might be super interesting too.
That might be super interesting too. Yeah, I think Sandhagen's got. I don't know. I feel like I'm biased. I always think Sandhagen's gonna win. I just like him too much.
But I don't know, dude. Against like really good wrestlers like Marab, Aljo, and Cejudo, he might struggle. Like obviously his game plan is I can out wrestle the guys that are good strikers and outstrike the guys that are good wrestlers. But it's easier to out wrestle the strikers than it is to outstrike the wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he can actually do really well against. I think he can do really well against Marab. I think his toughest matchup is Sterling and Cejudo. Like I think that just like good striking with really good grappling is going to be tough for him to deal with. But Sean O'Malley's super one-dimensional, Marab super one-dimensional. I think he matches up pretty well against both of them. God damn, dude. Fuck.
Hard, yeah, it's definitely hard.
Bantamweight's.
I mean, I also want to see Cejudo get back in the mix, but he might be washed, man. With the shoulder injury at this point.
Yeah.
It'd be too late.
Shoulder injury might do it. Just judging off of his last performance, I don't think he was washed. I thought he won round 4 and 5, I think, was the rounds. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he won rounds 4 and 5 and like on a lot of people's scorecards. But one of the judges gave round 5 to Sterling. And like even though Sterling won the fight through rounds 1, 2, and 3, he still like if the judge properly scored it for Cejudo, then like Cejudo would have won. So like super close fight.
Yeah, but I did think overall Cejudo did lose a close fight there.
No, what I'm trying to say is like I thought he like demonstrated some ring rust in that fight. Like he looked pretty unsure of himself in the earlier rounds, and he made adjustments in the later rounds that actually won him those rounds, like pretty convincingly. So like that being, I just think he's still a top level bantamweight. Obviously, the shoulder injury could affect that, but just judging off of his last performance, yeah, I think he's still top level. Dude, who do you want to see Umar fight next? Is he
Anyone, dude. Fucking put him against Rob Font, put him against Song Yadong, put him against Chito Vera, put him against like literally anyone on top. Like, okay, maybe Sandhagen was like a step too far, but like Rob Font seems perfect to me.
I still think Marab would be sick.
Rob would be sick.
Like,
Marab refused to fight. He tried to make that fight. Marab refused it.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, above Umar is Pedro Munoz, who's booked with Marlon Vera. Then you have Dominic Cruz at 9. Dominic's not going to fucking take that fight. Are you kidding me? Song Yadong, who was fighting Rob Font, and I don't know, maybe they got him another fight. Then you have Rob Font, who just lost. Marlon Vera, who's booked. Piotr Jan at 5. I don't know what Jan's doing. Jan versus Umar would be fun. Sandhagen that just fought Cejudo. Cejudo, I don't think Cejudo would take Umar because they're both like managed by Ali. I just don't think they'd make that fight. And then Sean O'Malley and Marab. Like out of all of those,
yeah, that's like I have to do those fights at some point. I mean, seriously.
Umar versus Jan, Umar versus Marab, Umar versus Dominic. Those would be my top 3. Just like someone older, pretty much. Oh, dude, speaking of Russians, have you looked at the UFC 290 card?
Why, there's a lot of Russians?
Dude, the card's sick right now.
What do you mean? What is it? Like, why?
This is the card. Headlined by Islam versus Oliveira 2, which, like, I'd prefer it to be Volkanovski, but Oliveira is still a good option. Then you have Kosta versus Hamzat. Then Nasruddin versus Ikram. Wait, I thought there were more fights. Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. I thought that. I mean, you have Tim Elliott versus Mohamed Mokaev. I thought there were more fights announced for that. Maybe I'm just thinking of Johnny Walker versus Ankalaev. Whatever. But, I mean, that's still really good. Ankalaev versus Walker is going to be fun. Just because it's like Ankalaev is probably the most technical and well-rounded light heavyweight, and you're just throwing him up against a beast. Like a fucking force of nature.
Yeah, that would be a good fight. I mean, Ankalaev, I think Walker's still just going to get wrestle fucked for the whole fight, though.
He should. And then Hamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. That's a really good fight, too. Like, they just have some really fucking good Russians on the card. Hamzat.
I mean, I like watching the Russians fight.
Mohamed Mokaev, Islam, and Ankalaev. I think I'm going to have to break out the Russian parlay.
It's like always such a good parlay because the ones you lose are always so close, you know? The Russians are never going to get wrecked.
It is a good parlay. Yeah, the only times the Russians like lose is when it's a close fight and the judges are just like, I don't like grappling.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for all that.
Yeah, I don't know. When is the Australian card? Oh, yes, I did it. I broke my goal.
What?
Dude, I was down to $3 in my bookie, and then I'm back up to 30 now.
Oh yeah. Did it.
I'm back, baby. Still can't brag though. All right, dude. What the? You know Sean Woodson?
Isn't he a fighter?
Yeah.
Then yeah, I know. I can picture him.
Well, check.
It's kind of like a beaver. That's the same Sean Woodson?
Dude, I think it's like edited. What is going on? That has to be fake, dude. Because this is him from today.
Oh, I know. That's how I like. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. He looks so much skinnier. His torso is like
Dude, there's no way.
really sized.
How is he like going from like a nice big
Dude,
boy
it's possible.
to a Holocaust victim?
Gotta make weight, dude. Is this dude? He's 215 pounds in the above
He's
photo.
not even that fat in that picture.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you'd be surprised how much weight you carry. Maybe you wouldn't be. I don't know.
I'm really fat right now. Well, not even that fat, but heavy.
You didn't seem that fat when I saw you.
All right. I'm trying to find some dumb takes on Twitter.
Twitter, dude. You mean X?
Oh, yeah, X.
Call it what it is. It's actually crazy. Like, he's renaming tweets to posts. I saw like.
It's so stupid. Elon Musk is so dumb.
I saw like in the dictionary, an alternate definition of tweet is literally like to post on Twitter. Think about that, the level of brand recognition that you're getting rid of. It's in the Oxford Dictionary, bro.
Dude, what is Roman Delize posted? Anyone watching Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz fight? Because I am not. I'm in mountains. It's like, dude, you're on fucking Twitter. What do you mean you're in mountains?
I know, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're bragging about being in the mountains on Twitter. It defeats the purpose of what you're trying to say, which is like you're a cool dude in the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, there's just not even anything interesting on X. It's so boring. It's just like people like, what do you think about this fight? And people respond. Ugh.
Nice.
Ariel Helwani literally Xing while he's interviewing people.
Excreting?
Yeah, excreting. Yeah, dude, I wonder how penalized Nate Diaz would get if he just choked Jake unconscious. Like, he's done it. Like, he's done it to random people on the streets before.
Yeah, well, guess the rules are different in a boxing ring than on the streets.
I'm just saying he could do it.
He should have done it.
Yeah.
Would have respected it more.
I don't know, dude. It's not even like... We can't even complain about it. That's pretty much as good as we could have gotten out of that Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, dude, I'm not complaining. I just don't really care much. Like, I don't know. I just don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care about boxing. I don't care about, like, the sanctity of the sport. So, that's, like, the biggest issue, I feel like, with it.
Yeah. Well, mean, if they're doing MMA, then we kind of have to eat our words and watch it with enjoyment.
It's not true. I don't enjoy every MMA fight.
I know, but it would be funny. But again,
Oh, I definitely watch it. If they do it, I'll watch it for sure. I mean, like I watched this fight.
but again, it's like
I'll probably enjoy it more than this boxing match. I think all else equal, MMA is more entertaining. Oh,
it's
definitely.
a joint promotion between PFL and Real Fight Promotions, which is like Nick Diaz's fight promotion. They should just do it in the UFC. Yeah. I've just never watched a PFL fight, and I don't really want to.
You don't have to do it, bro.
Yeah.
No one's making you. It's
I guess I'll skip it.
stupid. The whole thing's fucking stupid, dude.
Who's fighting next week? Anyone interesting?
Next week, I don't know, fucking know, man.
Dude, okay, let me ask you this. Do you give Sean O'Malley an actual chance against Aljo?
No, not really.
Like, I think it just...
Like, Aljo's grappling just looked really good against Henry Cejudo.
Did it, though? Did it look that good?
Pretty good, dude.
Did he get good takedowns?
Yeah.
Against
Actually,
the
yes.
cage, he did. But let's be honest, dude. Aljo's takedowns aren't very good. He's, like, only good at catching kicks and shit. At least that's the majority of where his takedowns come from. You don't really see him throwing, like, shooting blast double legs. And I just think if Sean can, like, stay off the cage, or if Aljo initiates in the clinch, break out of the clinch, like, quickly, he actually has a pretty good chance of winning. Like, I just don't think he needs to really be worried about takedowns in open space. Like, as long as he doesn't throw kicks and then get tree-topped or anything.
I mean, how many takedowns have we seen Sean O'Malley defend in his whole career?
From high-level guys, not that many.
That's the thing. It's like, this is like when we can theorize. This one, Cyril Gane was fighting John Jones. You can theorize his takedown defense all you want. You haven't defended takedowns against really good guys, and you fight a really good wrestler. You really don't know, and you kind of have to assume the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. You're not wrong. But all I'm saying is, like, people think about Aljamain as a huge grappler, and he is a really good grappler, but he doesn't have good takedowns. Like, he doesn't need them. He's found ways to circumvent the generic classic, like, double leg, even single leg takedowns in the open. I'm not saying he, like, is a bad wrestler because he doesn't have those takedowns, but if people are just expecting him to come out and straight up blast double leg Sean, it's not really gonna happen, I don't think.
But you're setting the bar. Like, I didn't say that. I'm just saying. I just said Aljo's gonna win. Like, what? I don't see what.
Okay. Does Aljamain?
Okay.
I think here's another question. Like, I don't even think Aljo necessarily needs to take Sean O'Malley down to win. The threat of the wrestling is going to be enough to, like, make his striking pretty effective. And
I don't know, man. Sean O'Malley's striking is really good. I think. I don't know. To be honest, Sean O'Malley's had one high-level fight against Petr Yan, who's been on a bit of a downward spiral. Like, I don't actually know how good Sean O'Malley is. I just don't feel like we've seen him against Aljo level competition enough.
He's had like 3 high-level fights, right? Piotr Jan, Pedro Munoz, and Marlon Vera. And Marlon Vera wasn't even like really that good when he fought Sean. Also, none of those guys are like really good grapplers. So, like, that's obviously going to be his inherent weakness. I mean, yeah, the stacks, like, it's the odds are stacked against him. And to be honest, at minus 277, that kind of seems like a steal for Aljamain. Not to mention, like, he seems.
Seeming more and more like a steal to me.
Hmm?
Yeah, it does seem more and more like a steal to me. Like, I feel like the only reason it's not more in favor of Aljo is because, like I said, it's a bit of an unknown. Maybe Sean O'Malley's worked a lot on his wrestling. Maybe,
Well, dude, he got
like,
taken down by Jan.
no, but it was a pretty good takedown.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, you have to expect Sean is working on his wrestling. He's mentally undefeated,
No.
so like he's never had that setback that that a lot of fighters have that slow their road.
Absolutely, dude.
The other thing we need to think about is Sterling's not. I don't know. Every time Sterling grapples, it's like his control is amazing. Everything else is bad.
Is Sterling striking even that good though? That's why I give Sean O'Malley like I feel like his odds are actually not bad because I think Sean O'Malley's striking is way better than Sterling's.
Dude, I thought Sterling was gonna get like completely outstruck by Cejudo, and he actually didn't. He's able to win rounds against Piotr Jan purely on the feet. Like, his striking isn't bad.
Well, yeah, first round there, but you know.
Oh man, I don't know though. He's also just super awkward. Like, I can see him giving O'Malley problems just landing punches on him. Ah, dude, it's gonna be good though. It should be funny. I just don't think that. I don't think it's gonna be like the Sandhagen fight, basically, where like Aljo takes him down and then chokes him out in the first round. Like, even TJ Dillashaw with one arm survived a round with Aljo. Like, O'Malley's not gonna be a fish out of water when he ends up on his back. He's gonna be fine. Like, I don't think he's gonna get choked out. I don't think he's gonna get really hurt and ground and pounded by Aljo. He's just gonna lose rounds that way. He's just gonna, and maybe he'll get tired out, but I don't even think he's gonna really get that tired. You can just frame and pretty much coast off your back, and you don't have a guy putting tons of pressure on ground and pound on you. Like, you should be fine. So I think it's going to be like an Aljo decision win. But, like, that being said, I think it's going to be close because it's probably going to be, like, pretty much a back and forth fight. I think the real question is if O'Malley wins, does Sterling leave the division or does he stay?
I think it's definitely gonna leave him if O'Malley wins.
Really? Because like I can see it being easy.
I don't know, just cause yeah, I do.
Like, he's the champ. He's like, there's no one really at featherweight other than Ilya. He's like, I'm next for the featherweight belt. And then they're like, okay, well, Aljo's moving up. We're gonna do an interim belt, and then like it's gonna turn into the real belt because Aljo's gonna like end up vacating. Like, they do that whole song and dance where it's like, oh, he's still a he's still a 2-time simultaneous champion. Like, that whole thing. And then he just like leaves like what Conor did. You know, like, everyone's done that's done that, like DC.
Yeah.
But if he loses, he's not going to get an immediate title shot at featherweight. He's going to have to fight someone like Josh Emmett or Yair, and he's going to kind of get fucked up. I mean, maybe not against Yair. He might be able to take him down, but still. I guess is he going to want to try to get the featherweight belt back with Merab right there?
With Merab and bantamweight? Why not? What do you mean?
Or is he going to want to try to get the bantamweight belt back with Merab in the division? Also going for it.
I don't think he's gonna try to get the bantamweight belt back if Merab is like gearing up for a title shot, or, like has the belt even.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think so.
bantamweight's pretty.
I don't know. I just don't think like the thing is if Sean O'Malley beats Aljo, Aljo can easily campaign for a rematch instant. The way things in the UFC are working nowadays,
Give him that.
everyone gets instant rematches now though.
Not everyone. Well, actually, let me think.
Pretty much.
Oliveira didn't, and Oliveira was way more loved than
Oliveira didn't have as many title defenses. Aljo has
I'm
3 title
sure he did.
defenses now.
He had Poirier, he had Gaethje, that's 2. Aljo's had Jan, Dillashaw, and Cejudo, so that's 3. It's like just one more, but I'm like, who really counts?
I know, dude. People are literally calling Aljo the bantamweight goat.
Dude, holy fuck. He literally, like, had a split decision win over Piotr Jan. And then, like, beat a fucking crippled TJ.
Wait, was the second win?
Split decision.
Was the second win split decision? I don't think so.
I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Let me look it up. Yeah, it was a split decision. Because it came down to the first 2 rounds. Because Aljo looked like shit in that fight. Like, I don't give him any credit for that fight. He won the first round on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards by just, like, kicking for 5 minutes straight. And then won round 2 and 3 by basically getting a body lock and then, let's be honest, doing nothing with it. And then he just gassed out and, like, was on his hands and knees in rounds 4.
I don't think he's, like, that good, but I'm saying, if he's... People are calling him the bantamweight goat, he's probably going to get an instant rematch. If he wanted it.
No one likes him.
Honestly, dude, after the Cejudo win, people were more into him.
Like one of the greatest lightweights ever.
Dude, people just like winners, dude. After the Cejudo win, people were actually liking Aljo. And, like, it's the same now.
There's a difference.
If he beats Sean O'Malley, people will like Aljo.
Personally, to me, there's a difference because, like, in the Jan win, I thought he performed horribly. In the Cejudo win, I was totally underestimating Aljamain and possibly overestimating Cejudo. And I kind of had to eat my words because Aljo looked really good in that fight. Like, that was the first fight that he's looked good in, other than
I agree.
When he's fighting, like, a one-armed TJ Dillashaw.
I agree. Yeah, sure.
And also, dude, I don't even think it's true that, like, if he beats Sean O'Malley, he's gonna, like, become a fan favorite, because people are already giving in the built-in excuse, oh, well, he just took him down over and over again. Like, he's gonna beat Sean O'Malley. He's a wrestler. That's what people are gonna say.
I mean, okay. I don't know. I really think at the end of the day, people just like whoever's winning.
I mean, that's true.
Winning is ultimate. Winning is the solves everything. Yeah. If he's on a 4-fight win streak, John, TJ, which is whatever, Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, even if you consider the 3-fight win streak, that's a pretty good win streak.
No, his win streak is good, but, like, there's reasons why he's kind of getting derided. He's just had some very weird fights.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm not a fan of the guy. I'm also overplaying my hand a bit because we're talking about a scenario where Sean O'Malley wins. So you can't count Sean O'Malley in that win streak.
Right. I just don't think that the UFC is gonna give him an immediate rematch. First of all, the UFC only does that. Well, the UFC does it in a few scenarios. The first scenario is like they're a long-standing champion. I don't think Aljo's really reached that level yet. The second scenario is if it was like a really close and fun fight, and there's not really any other clear contenders. And you can look at like the Prohaska Glover rematch that never happened, but it was what was scheduled by the UFC. That's when like the fight is fun. So can I see a scenario where Aljamain loses and then gets an immediate rematch? Yes, I can, but I think that's wholly dependent on like the fight being insane and Sean O'Malley like knocking him out, or maybe not even knocking him out, but having it be a really close fight. But even in that very specific scenario, it's still super hard for me to see it happening, just simply because there's so many high level prospects that are in the area to fight for the belt next.
That's true.
Especially when one of those
The
guys is a guy,
line is pretty big.
especially when one of those guys is a guy that Aljamain actually wants to fight for the belt. Like if the UFC's like, we don't really want you to get an immediate rematch, would he really push for it so hard when like Merab's right there? Like, we want Merab to get it. Would he really be like, no, come on, let me get it. I don't think so.
No, I agree.
And dude, to be honest, like even if it's an insane and fun fight, I wouldn't want to see an immediate rematch.
Yeah. No, I don't want immediate rematches either. I don't want them. I'm trying to figure out the question, like, if Sean O'Malley wins, can Aljo get an immediate rematch? I think it's like medium likelihood. But you're convincing me it's less and less likely.
I also just think nobody likes Aljamain. Like, I don't know, dude. I guess there's sycophants that like him that are in his YouTube chat. Like, Aljamain, you're so good. You inspire me. I love your content, Al. Dude, is there anything worse than watching like a debate or someone talking about something, and then instead of the people actually commenting on like what the thing they're talking about is, they comment about like how good of a job you're doing talking about it? Like, in that abortion debate I was telling you about, they're like, wow, this conversation is so good. I love it when two individuals can have a rational conversation without raising their voices. Wow, this is the highest IQ conversation that's ever been had on this show. It's like, none of you fucking morons are engaging in the ideas of the debate. You're just picking up on vibes like dogs. Just like the tone of their voice. And that's all that you're incorporating into your brain. That's the only kind of information you're picking up. It actually pisses me off so much. It's like, these people are so freaking stupid.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
It's just like, that's like the worst
Ah,
kind of YouTube comment. Because it just shows an unwillingness to actually, like, you're either too stupid to fully engage in it, or you're just doing it in bad faith. Especially when they're criticizing someone. Whatever. Oh, dude. Speaking of that Catholic podcast, I need to
oh yeah,
clip
got
off
any
of it.
good?
But there was an episode where this woman came on and she wrote a book called like Awake Not Woke. And then
Okay.
and they're like, oh, so like, what do you think the newest thing that the woke mob is gonna be doing? Like, what do you think the newest like avenue they're gonna be pushing their propaganda down? And she's like, climate change. Climate change is the big one. And then their little sycophantic producer guy, who's our age, is like, well, she's like, they're going to be pushing climate change and amping that up. And then he's like, well, we just had the hottest like 4 days on record, like in the history of like as
Yeah.
far back as we're able to measure.
Their own producer said that.
Yeah, the producer said that. Or he didn't
Okay,
say
so
like
what
in
the
the history of measurements, but he's like, we just had the hottest 4 days on record. I'm like, oh my god, maybe he's gonna actually like provide pushback
yeah.
with
Yeah.
literally common sense evidence. Like the classic religious argument is like, you don't believe in God? Look outside. Like a tree, like look at
Right.
that tree. How do you not believe in God? So like, you don't believe in climate change? Look outside. It's literally the hottest days ever. I thought he was gonna say something like that, and then he's like, yeah, well, we just had the hottest 4 days, so they're gonna be using that to ramp up the climate change hoax.
So wait, but god damn
So
it, dude! How
he's
is
literally like
like
walking down the
how?
path, sees the end of the path, and then just like takes a left turn into the woods. And it's like, I'm I'm following the science, or I don't even know. He's just like, yes,
Nice,
this is
dude.
the correct way to go. It's like so close, and then right at the end of the path, he like takes a left turn
No,
and falls off a
exactly. It's so
cliff.
close.
It's just like he sees evidence of climate change and then uses that evidence to say that people are going to be using that evidence to amp up climate change rhetoric. It's just like,
And there's no
yes,
fucking.
yes, like that's a tautology. It's literally like the climate is changing and we're going to be talking about it because the climate's changing. And he's like, yeah, they're going to be talking about it because the climate's changing. It's just like, oh my fucking god. They're so, dude, it just fucking pissed me
No,
off.
they're. I mean, dude, yeah, they're. I
And
don't know. It's over, dude. It's just over. It's not even really. At this point, it's too late, dude. Like they've
well, you
measured like the
measured,
water temperature in like the Middle East, fucking I don't know, some random sea, and it was like over. It was like 100 degrees
yeah, dude,
Fahrenheit.
like the fish are literally getting
Literally
boiled in the water.
boiled alive. It's over, dude. It's just over.
It's
We can
over.
even
It's
like
over. Like we're done.
at this point, it's not even about it's about mitigation in the sense that every unit centigrade that we mitigate warming is like the difference between tens of millions of lives and not. Also, like it's really just about adaptation now.
Well,
It's
because
just
I
about like
think
adapting our infrastructure as climate change occurs.
when we were growing up, there was a general idea that like, yeah, global warming's real, but if we do enough, we can stop it and go
At
back to
least
the way
mitigate
it
it
was.
heavily.
Right? Like
Right,
there was a
exactly.
general feeling that like, oh, Alaska's melting, but if we do enough, we can like save Alaska and save the polar bears. But
Oh
it's like,
yeah. It's not there. Yeah, it's over, dude. I mean, yeah. To be honest, though, honestly, it kind of has been over for a while, but
well, yeah.
it's definitely over
It's
now.
just
It's
like
over now.
I remember in some kind of like rhetoric class or English class I was taking in college, and they played a clip from that show, The West Wing. Or not, I don't even think it was college. I think it was high school. They played a clip from the show, The West Wing, and in that clip, they were like, it was something about like how news channels have to like tone down the news, and like the tone of the news is
Yeah.
different. And so like they brought on like in the show this their news channel. Oh wait, it wasn't West Wing. It was by Sorkin, but it was like the newsroom, I think, and it was about a news station. And
Oh
on
yeah,
the
yeah. I watched. Yeah, it's called the Newsroom, right? I watched that
yeah,
show.
and I don't. You've probably who won? Jake Paul won, and now they want to run it back in MMA. But on in this clip, um, in this clip, uh, the guy they bring on a climate change expert, and the guy's like, basically he was like spelling, he was like forecasting doom and gloom, and they're like the newsroom
Yeah.
caster is like shocked. They're like, what are you saying? Are you saying it's too late? And the guy, the big line that like tied everything together and like brought down the show that made them speechless is the guys, they're like, are you saying that this is really serious, doctor? And the guy's like the first person has already been born that will die due to climate change. And like that was supposed to be like, oh my god, how can you say that on news? You're saying people are gonna die. It's like, no, dude. Like the first person, that has already died of climate change. Like you get, like that was the lie. The first person that will die of climate change has already been born. It's like now we're just seeing like hundreds of thousands of people being displaced and dying, like because of the effects of climate change, and people are still like, whatever. Like you have fucking like Republican fucking idiots like Ben Shapiro, who's like, you know what? It's really hot in the summer. You know what's a great remedy for being hot? Air conditioning. When it turns out when you live in a first world country with a great energy grid, you can put on air conditioning and you'll be fine. And then you have like Tommy Tuberville, who Sam Cedar says is like the dumbest senator in America, being like, well, you know what? It's why it's hot? It's called summer. It hasn't been any hotter in my day. It's the same heat all the time. It's like not a great argument when it's literally been the top 4 like hottest days in like the history of measuring temperature.
But here's what I'll say. Like I don't even like. If you really want to be scientifically accurate about this, I'm not even going to argue with you about how hot it is this summer. Like the point is the global average temperature measured in centigrade is going up. Local weather, how that affects local weather is going to vary dramatically. Sometimes there's going to be storms. Sometimes it's going to be really hot summers. Sometimes it's going to be really cold, abnormally cold temperatures.
But dude, the thing
it's about the average. The average temperature going up causes the extremity in local weather. Climate going up, the temperature of the climate going up causes the local weather effects to be more drastic and like crazy.
But dude, at some point, it's like it becomes about rhetoric, and when you have literally 4 days in a row, each day breaking records, and then people still say dumb shit like it's not any hotter than it was like 50 years ago. It's like you have a quite literal example of it breaking the record heat ever. And so, like, it's just...
And still,
like, of course you're right. It's about global change and, like, the global heat increasing.
No, but, like, because then they're going to be like, last winter was so brutal in Minnesota. Actually, it's not climate change. No, that is climate change. Local weather effects become more extreme and volatile as a result in an average rise in global centigrade temperature. It's like, people aren't understanding.
Like, the last year has been the hottest year on record too. So
whatever. I mean, it's bad. I'm fucking.
But yeah, it's just funny because people are saying like such stupid fucking shit. I guess it's not really funny because it's like anti-scientific in an anti-scientific context of talking about local weather.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, I do agree. Like, I don't know if we need to provide misinformation or like some sort of like faulty scientific interpretation to get these guys to agree, then fine. Dude, like we're gonna die. I mean, we're all just gonna die, dude. It's over, dude. Just fucking, man. Just give up. Honestly, like I can only stress about so much, dude. It's over. It's just over. It's literally over. There's nothing we can do. It's fucked. It's just completely fucked.
Yeah, I know, dude. Like honestly, I'm thinking about it. It's like, okay, what's the best way to mitigate damage?
It's just about adaptation. It's just adaptation now. Some countries, poor countries will die. Poor countries are literally going to die. They're going to have mass refugee crises. It's just about adaptation now. We have to adapt our infrastructure to accommodate higher temperatures, higher sea levels, worse weather, droughts, worse quality food, and an influx of refugees. We have to accommodate our infrastructure now. That's all. It's the name of the game. It's adaptation. For the most part. We still have to do mitigation because otherwise even more people die. But like it's mostly... but that's not even going to happen. Like we're just going to be adapting as the time arises, and poor people are going to die. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
How I was listening to the Majority Report interviewing someone, and the guy was talking about how like oil companies are adapting to climate change, and essentially they're just campaigning for like this carbon capture technology pretty much, and
Yeah.
like carbon credits, because essentially the guy said that there's still like $30 trillion of oil like buried under the US, and so that's why like that's the kind of money they're playing with. So that's the kind of money that they're willing to
Right.
just like throw into the face of all of this innovation in renewable energy resources to just try to slow it down. So it is kind of crazy how there's pretty
Yeah,
much
like there's like a lot of carbon sequestration stuff. Like there's shit you can say. Like none of this really actually deals with the scale at which we're releasing carbon into the atmosphere. Definitely not. It's not going to be. I mean, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Like the U.S.'s like carbon net zero, like neutral carbon pledge. Even our own carbon pledge is not nearly enough. Like the year to which we are have said to get to net zero,
mm,
mitigate climate change enough, much less all these other countries
it
who
is.
haven't even completed the development cycle, like India, China, all this shit. Like I don't know, man. I mean,
And
I
it's
don't
just
know. Like
fucking crazy.
India has a fucking pledge. It'll be net zero by 2070. That's so far in the future. You might as well not pledge anything. Like that doesn't matter. It's useless words to say like now. Yeah, I mean, who
Right.
knows in the future? Like
I mean, it's just crazy that like it's not even like we're staring into the face of annihilation. Like we've already entered into it where just like heat is killing people.
But like, it's sad because like there are things I thought I would do in my like I thought I would like have kids maybe. No, no. Like I've been keenly aware of the fact that having kids is such an uphill battle now since like the beginning of college. Like it's crazy. I don't know. I don't think people are realizing how much this is actually going to affect their lives. Like life as we know it is going to change really quickly.
I know.
I
Yep.
feel like I'm living in some weird, crazy fantasy land where people aren't understanding the severity of what's happening.
Yeah, dude, it is crazy, and it's just like I don't know. Think about it. It's like okay, what can I personally do? And the answer is kind of nothing. I mean, you can be an activist to try to fight for structural change, but on a personal
Oh.
level,
You could
nothing's gonna
literally
change.
emit zero carbon emissions and nothing. You could have a zero carbon footprint, and you wouldn't really change anything.
Yeah,
Like
it
you
still
could,
wouldn't change
it
anything.
helps.
Like I can be vegan. I can be vegan. I could
You
quit
can like
drinking
not have a
alcohol.
car. You can be vegan. You can. I mean, not having kids is probably the best thing you can do for your carbon footprint. But
Or
like,
adopt.
yeah, or whatever, right? But like,
Well, I've
even
heard that
that's
like
just like
adopting is like calculated out to be the best thing you can do for your carbon footprint. Adopt a kid.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, that just makes sense, right? Because like, you don't have more kids.
Yeah.
You're stopping all future kids. Yeah, it makes. But like, it's we're playing with like peanuts here. It's like
Well, yeah, of course.
yeah, whatever, man. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like live in an area that's safe against climate change, like on the Midwest. Honestly, I feel like I gotta come back. Although, although I will say, San Francisco specifically apparently has like I was reading about it has like a good um car like climate change risk profile apparently.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, but like
That's cool.
I don't know. California in general doesn't though.
Yeah, I
California in
really
general is like
just
really
wish
bad
it
climate risk
wasn't
profile.
too.
But the peninsula is like a lot of insulating effects, like insulated from sea level rise, and then like
I mean, dude,
whatever.
apparently like
And so
Florida
flood zone.
like insurance companies are refusing to like give out
Yeah, no.
homeowners insurance, and then
Or
DeSantis
house insurance, dude. They're not. They're literally leaving the state. They're not insuring houses. Like people's house insurance has literally quintupled in the last decade. It's crazy. It's like $10,000 a year to insure your house now, like an average house.
yeah, and then DeSantis is like Secretary of Finance. It's like, oh, they're just woke.
I don't even know what to say to these people. It's like you can't just repeat the same shit over and over. Like you have to actually deal with the goddamn problem. What to say?
Dude, okay. Let me ask you this. Do you think, because I agree, like, DeSantis is like whole, anti woke thing. It's a huge distraction for not only workers' rights, and like workers' rights is a big part of climate change, I believe, just like
Yeah,
checking some of the power of corporations. But
I
like,
believe. I agree.
um, like his whole thing of like, oh, I'm gonna like kill trans people or stuff like that. So like, the cycle is this: like, a leftist or a trans person or a gay person will just like be themselves, and then Republicans will be like, "Oh, look at how gross this is. We should kill them." And then leftists will be like, "Oh no, like these people are just being themselves." And then there's like debates, bills passed, like people active, like being active against it, active like pro trans activists. It's like, is all of this happening drawing away from shit like climate
Thanks, people.
activism and like more workers' rights? Or like, I don't really think it is. Like, let's just say that leftists never really cared about protecting marginalized people, and they're like, the best way to protect marginalized people is to give them more rights in the workplace and improve the climate because marginalized people are going to be hit the hardest by it. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know if just abandoning all semblances of culture war will really, I mean, I guess possibly it could cause more activism to be pushed that way, especially if the Democratic Party was more affected by it. Like, maybe if they worked within the Democratic Party and got more like workers' rights minded people rather than just like virtue signaling, and then people vote for them because they vote for whoever is like virtue signaling the best.
Yeah, I do think it's. I don't know if. I don't know if. Okay, so I think culture war stuff does distract from working class politics, environmental activism, things that I think are more economically oriented. But that doesn't mean the reverse is also true, right? That doesn't mean that not talking about trans issues is going to solve it, especially when you have one side of our politics that is all bent on talking about it. Like, just because one is true doesn't mean just because it's true that Republicans have a really effective strategy of diverting attention away from actual politics that affects the working class beneficially using culture war stuff.
The problem is, like, if we're like,
Because there's no solution. That's why it's effective. There's no good answer to it, really.
right, because let's
What do
just
you
say
say?
like it's a debate and a Republican's like, well, trans people shouldn't be in the military, and then the debater is like, what's your response to that? And you're like, I don't care. Like, we should be focused on environmental policy. And then they're like, okay, but
Yeah.
like you have to answer the question. It's just like such a great distractor.
It's a great distractor. That's the most effective thing. Like there's no actual response you can make to it.
And it's a more tangible, immediate impact than like, oh, we're gonna try to change the degree that the Earth is gonna warm up by like 2030. Like, okay, great. How does that affect my life? Can I get a tax cut?
Right.
Damn, dude. Fuck. Doomerism.
Oh, I mean, it's really like I don't know, man. I don't think people are realizing like the future is really really grim. You're gonna have a lot of money to be able to do basic things like have raise a family,
Yeah.
like, raise a family
Unless
in
you're
an
rich,
area that's
unless you're
secure food wise and secure water with a secure amount of food and fresh water.
yeah, and
That's
health
like
care.
a lot of money now. That's yeah. I'm not even getting into the concerns that people already have. I'm talking about like necessities people think are like taken for granted, like fresh water,
Like
having like
healthcare.
fresh tap water in your house. That's taken for granted. Okay, no, we can't take that. I mean, that's difficult.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, fuck. Holy shit. It is crazy. Like, Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are gonna die. Let's just say that. I mean, that's pretty much a
I
foregone
don't know, man. I'm
conclusion.
like legitimately worried because like I do a PhD, like I'm not gonna be making good money by the time I'm until I'm like 30. I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be super expensive to do anything by that point. Like I feel like housing prices are gonna skyrocket. Like everything is gonna
And there's
skyrocket,
no way
man.
it's gonna become more egalitarian in terms of like class. Like there's
No,
it's
no,
these disparities between the rich and the poor are only going to be exasperated.
yeah, exacerbated. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I just don't see really any change happening, which is
I really
unfortunate.
wish. I don't know. Maybe we should be like that's how we should be talking about this issue. Like you can't have kids anymore. Like your kids can't run. Like not sometime in the future. Currently, if you have kids now, they're gonna have a tough life. You want that to be the case? Oh, okay. Like, let's fucking do something then. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is impossible to talk about. This issue is
It's a
difficult.
generational problem, and we're pretty much the generation that's got stuck with the bill. At least the first part of the
Oh
bill.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, dude. Like I look at my parents and like they went to college and then like teachers college and then became teachers and like 5 years later they had kids in a house and then they just worked,
It's
got a big
crazy.
house.
Teaching for 5 years and being able to get a house off of that now is impossible. Literally impossible. In fact, buying a house at all now as a teacher anywhere in the country almost, unless you're working for a private school and it's paying really really good money, like it's literally impossible.
And I
It's
just
not
feel
possible.
and I feel like we're just seeing the tip of the effects of like global warming. Um
Yeah, we're just
and
seeing the tip,
it's
dude.
still
I
so
mean,
bad just economically with
you know what is interesting that I was thinking about the other day? Because like one thing people have said is like, oh, it's scientists when they talk about climate change, they're like too alarmist, and it makes people feel like apathetic that oh, I can't do anything about this anyway. Except like, actually, the thing is, in terms of the predicted damages from global temperature rise, we were like underestimating the effects. Like the local weather effects at the same centigrade of temperature rise globally has been much swifter and much
hmm,
harsher
that's
earlier
true.
on than we even like that's like on the harsher end of our models. Like how can you even say we're being too like scientists are being too alarmist when it's like if anything we're like putting it down a bit. Like
And
I
also
don't know, I
the
mean
feeling that
obviously we don't have
many
enough
people
data to know
get
for sure.
like is true. It's like
Yeah, the
corporations are the
people
ones pushing people to be more concerned about their own personal climate footprint.
right. And also just like the way corporations have pushed to build our countries our in our infrastructure is so bad. I mean like
Horrible.
honestly dude, the 50s 40s through the 60s, honestly, were some of the worst years for this country and for the entire fucking globe as a result, because like the U.S. is a model for so many other countries. Because like we had the suburbs in the early 50s that were so environmentally friendly when you think about it. Like everything was either walkable or accessible via streetcars. We had like streetcar suburbs that were slowly being built around our cities. And because of that, everything needed to be relatively close, walkable, or accessible by streetcar. We didn't have nearly as much urban sprawl, right? Like cities were naturally denser because people had to get places.
Right.
Then there was like basically 10 years of hardcore car propaganda in this country. Where like the whole idea was like you're not a member of society, a productive member of society unless you have a car and
Hmm.
a single family house. All these neighborhoods were built around the country, like suburban neighborhoods where you had a front lawn, a big house, sprawled out, spread out. Like you're in a neighborhood, but you have enough area around you that's just a fucking monoculture lawn. And then like highways need to be built to access it because everyone wants to own a car. So then roads have to accommodate cars, and you have to build wider and wider roads. And like we've now gotten to this place today where you have to have a car and like drive an hour fucking every day to commute to your job. It's like it's insane, dude. This system is crazy. It's such a stupid way of organizing society. Here we are, really because corporations made money off of it. We should have good public transportation, good access to like agriculture that's where we're growing things in places that actually make sense and shipping it around via trains everywhere. Like, dude, we should have train tracks everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
Like, we could have done so much better,
I
man.
know. I was just yeah.
This
One
last like
thing.
70 years, we could have done so much better in terms of mitigating climate change
I don't
and
know what
delaying the effects of what we're seeing,
I don't know
slowing it down.
if I told this to you or I think it's just my family, but I was listening to the radio and they were talking about some company that's trying to make electric planes because they're like, oh, it's so environmentally friendly because
Fucking joke,
when
dude.
Americans have to travel like a trip that's 500 miles, like around 500 miles, they usually will just drive there. And like they won't fly there, they'll just drive. And we're trying to like eliminate them from the CO2 emissions of driving. Like, why are you fucking building an electric plane? Build a train.
No, build a fucking train, you moron. Trains are the best, dude.
It's
European
biological. We've
European
had this
travel.
technology for like
No,
200
and it's like the
years.
best way of getting around. Electric trains, dude. European travel, like honestly, it was making me want to cry. Taking a train, I traveled
Dude, I
all the
gotta do the
way
European
from
train.
Rome to Florence to Venice, and then into Austria, and then into Berlin, all via train, and I was like, it was bringing a tear to my eye, dude.
I mean, I took
It
a
was the
train across
easy.
Poland, but like it really fucking sucked.
Oh, dude, the trains I took were like fucking amazing. Train station was incredibly clean and amazing. You just go in, you fucking get on a train and you leave. No security. They're not fucking. It's. I was ready to cry right there, dude. I got on the train, high speed rail, everywhere I went. I,
Dude, the
I
thought
was
of traveling
astounded. I
across
was
America, which
astounded.
should be like an amazing trip that everyone does in their life just because of how
No,
like
exactly.
beautiful the natural scenery is. It's just
How
like
varied it is.
it's sickening. The idea of
I
driving
know.
across the country is it's just gross to me. I've driven from Minneapolis to Toronto like probably like 20 times. Like
It's
the
gross.
roads are just so
Driving from Chicago to Minneapolis, what I used to do, awful. Just like literally an awful experience. All you're doing is the whole time you're on this fucking shitty highway. Dude, trains are so incredible. Trains are so incredible, and all we have here is the fucking Amtrak system, which is terrible. Like, it's
well,
literally, I think the average speed for an Amtrak, if you actually calculate the hours you spend traveling via Amtrak to get anywhere on the East Coast, which all the cities are on a straight line on the East Coast, it's like ideal for a train system. There couldn't be a more ideal organization of cities for a train system than the East Coast. And no, it's fucking connected via the shittiest rail ever. People fly. People don't even use that train. People like fly from New York to Washington D.C.
I just think it's hilarious that we've had this technology for literally
No,
hundreds of years and
it's incredible.
people like Elon Musk are still trying to think up of ways and it's like emergent evolution that leads them to thinking of trains. It's just like how can I make a line of cars that somehow link up together and go on one single track? It's like, dude, you're literally describing a train. It's just it's crazy. And when I heard them talking about building an electric plane, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with people? Just build a it's like you're literally just trying to it's literally just like gatekeeping, like monetarily gatekeeping reduction to climate change. It's like, yeah, what's going to be cheaper for people? Like driving there, taking your fucking stupid electric plane, like chartering
The
an
actual
electric
like
plane.
pushback against public transportation too in this country makes no sense to me. Like,
Well, corporations have an active interest in preventing public transportation from being a thing.
no, yeah, corporations have an active interest. That's the fucking problem, dude.
All of these car companies, plane companies. I don't know, dude. I don't see
Just
a
lobbied.
good end in sight for in terms of climate change unless the American government really puts its foot down and just starts nationalizing certain companies because
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it just seems so evident to me that companies like don't give a shit about anyone, especially when their main stated goal is to make money. So I was just listening to Sam Cedar talk with this guy in the medical industry, and he's basically saying capitalism like stops innovation for research for medicines, because why would you spend the money and time to develop a medicine that can cure someone when you can basically develop like a preventative thing or something that just like keeps symptoms down, and it's like a subscription model, right? So it's actually like preventing medicines from being researched that are like one-time cures. Not to mention all like pretty like 98% of drugs are subsidized by the federal government, and then pharmaceutical companies get patents for it for I think like 15 years or something. A set number of years
Yeah.
before like generic drugs.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, there's like no need to develop an actual long-term like cured solution.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, it's just like that's a big thing with antibiotics, where
I don't know, man. Don't work for a fucking shitty corporation, man. Sell your soul. It's actually just shitty. It's like it's just disgusting, man.
yeah, yeah, pretty bad, pretty bad. All right, well, anyway, Jesus Christ, that was depressing. That was a great way to end. Dude, we were like talking about such stupid shit like Jake Paul versus Nate.
Yeah, I don't even get here.
This is just like
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I really didn't do well in a corporate environment anyway, so it's like it's kind of like when people boycott things that they aren't going to buy anyway. Like I talk about not working for corporations, but like I really didn't want to anyway.
yeah.
Also, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit worried income wise. I'm worried about the planet. And just like
Dude, I'm really worried about just like my future life. And like even if I do have kids, it's like let's say I become like a successful doctor and
yeah.
I have a good life. Like that's no guarantee that like my kids would do well in life. Like they'd probably be even more
No,
fucked than me.
dude, your kids. I mean, that's the problem. Like I would say only have kids if you know that you can take care of your kids and your kids' kids or something, like with your fucking generational wealth.
Well,
Like,
that's the other thing. I don't believe in generational wealth. Like I think that's stupid. But like
yeah,
if
it is
we're in an
stupid.
uncaring world where the government's just like fuck you,
Exactly.
like you kind of need it.
You need it. That's the thing. It's like the world. It's like only gonna get harsher and harsher, man. I just think like access to basic resources are gonna become so expensive that yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't wanna. This thing having kids is like at some point it becomes like the world just becomes so brutal that like you have to question how ethical it really even is to like fucking spawn another person.
It's just interesting, like
It's
evolutionary. Like if you think about it through evolutionary psychology, which is kind of a bullshit pseudoscience, it's
right.
like what makes more sense to not have kids and just try to like help the people around you to the best of your abilities without like that you'd probably be able to better without kids, or to have kids and then just like roll the dice and hope.
I just don't think we've evolved to think about generations like 2 generations ahead of us. That's why like I think people have kids even though like we're doing for a while things are just gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, on the good news, um, looks like the Republican Party's pretty fucked this election cycle.
Yeah,
So that's
probably.
some
I mean, the
good
problem is
news.
the Democrats aren't actually doing any. I actually listened to a really interesting debate, by the way. Have you listened to this debate with Vosh? And it's a pretty recent one.
Vanguard.
They're talking about whether or not to go third party.
I listened to the actual Kyle debate with them, and then Vosh reviewed
Yes.
that debate, and then like
And then those
people
guys came
ended
on to
up
Vosh
reviewing
too.
him. Which like they did it in pretty bad faith. Like they were kind of acting like dumbasses when they were reviewing him.
For sure.
I
I didn't listen to their
think
video
it's
already.
pretty fucking stupid in general. To like abstain
Yeah.
from voting. Now, granted, like
Definitely abstaining from voting is retarded. I think like
I think that
it's slightly more of a question about voting third party in a safe state. I still think it's kind of dumb. One thing about the safe state thing I think people don't realize also is just because your state is safe doesn't mean um that the margin that people are winning by in that state is
is a lie.
super high.
Well, dude, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
like
thinking too. Like
Minnesota is a safe state. Minnesota is a safe state, but the margin that the Democrats win in Minnesota by
52 to
isn't
48.
crazy. Yeah, like if a bunch of people randomly started voting for third parties, Minnesota would flip red.
Like yeah, it's a really dumb argument. The concept of safe state. The other thing is like I think the electoral college just doesn't make sense in today's day and age. Like maybe when you need to have
That hasn't made sense.
instantaneous
It
communication.
never made sense, dude. We never. It's not even in the Constitution to have an electoral college. It's just a fucking bullshit thing people made up.
No, it is bullshit. It's another way to like gerrymander the entire country.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly, dude.
but
Always been fucking retarded.
so like okay, if the electoral college like gets disbanded, then of course you should vote for a Democrat pretty much always.
Oh yeah, well, ranked choice voting is a completely different scenario, but that's not what we have.
Ranked choice voting's a good idea too. But
If we had ranked choice voting, then yeah, sure, you can vote for whoever we want first pick, and the Democrat second pick, and that's great.
would you even need a party system, like a two-party system? Like I feel like if you had ranked choice voting, that would open the door to like a bunch of people running third party or like quote unquote third party, just like not part of. Obviously, you know what I mean.
I mean, parties are still really useful because parties can do a lot in benefiting you in elections, like a party infrastructure can. It's a machine that gives you voting data, that gives you people, staffing,
True. Okay, I guess let me
organizes your
rephrase it.
campaign.
Like,
Like,
what if essentially the primary and the general election is like combined? Because if you have ranked choice voting, I guess like people would know who to pool their resources to promote more if you had a primary. But okay, I guess like a primary and having one main person to promote is more effective.
I guess a general party infrastructure is useful for fundraising too. And then I still think there would be parties, and then I guess like the primary system would be the same thing we have now, which is just like um, basically shifting, like determining the platform of the party and having it evolve over time to match its constituents' wants.
So like
Right?
this is kind of interesting. Um, I just feel like the Republican Party, it hasn't won a popular vote in like 10, like 4 or 5 election cycles, I think, since Bush's reelection. Um, like it's pretty much gerrymandering every state in order to win state elections and like Senate seats and district seats. But what else? Like you can look at the midterm elections that the Republican Party, generally, historically, the party that's out of power has a pretty good um, year in Congress, and like they get voted a lot back
Yeah.
into power. Like the party that isn't the president, they didn't really do that well. Like the Republicans didn't really do that well there. It just seems to me like less and less people are voting Republican. Like you also have to factor in the abortion bill that people are doing, the whole anti woke thing. I really don't think is hitting home across like the majority of the Republicans. Obviously, like you have fanatical base members that show up at every rally and are active online neo Nazis. But I just think in general, like the party's getting more and more extreme. And I think, I don't know, I think there might actually be a case, there might come a time when the Republican Party kind of just like dissolves and the Democratic Party pretty much splits up into like corporate Democrats and progressives.
I mean, that's like I agree. I agree, and I think similar to how the Republican Party has been fracturing under Trump, you have like old school conservatives versus this like new fake populism conservative.
I mean, we've had
I
precedents of
think
that before in America with like Federalists and Anti-Federalists,
sure, sure.
or Federalists and Whigs.
I mean, I think the Democratic Party is also seeing that. Like, direction the Clintons took the Democratic Party was this very neoliberal, globalist party. When historically, the Democratic Party has been a super trade protectionist union party, really been a working class union party, which we completely abandoned, and we're now seeing there's a huge desire for. Neither party wants because both parties are owned by corporate elites.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants to represent these politics, but there's a huge appetite for it. Absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Um,
feel like the Democratic establishment that seems to be calling the shots and seems to be like coalescing entirely around Biden and pretty much is saying like there is no primary. Like that wing of the
which is
Democratic
crazy,
Party
by the way.
is pretty much just getting dragged more and more to the right. Um, and I think there is a big pushback for it. And so it seems to me like obviously we're just talking in kind of more abstract terms, but it seems to me like the Democrats are kind of taking the position that the Republicans have left and we're kind of just like filling that void and then leaving another void. And I don't know, that just seems like a progression that I've been noticing. And I really think
Yeah,
it
I
could
think
be.
both. I think the Trump campaign, I think the Bernie Sanders campaign also, his success proves like there's a huge, huge population that's like very traditional blue collar workers who want strong unions and people looking out for them against the big bad guy, which are like corporations. I think there's a huge desire for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't think the Republicans or the Democrats really want to fill that void and deal with that desire because I mean, they're
But I
owned
guess
by whoever they're owned by.
so could you imagine a scenario where the Democratic Party, like the Republican Party, breaks apart basically, and they're putting up these joke candidates like Marjorie Taylor Greene and maybe like Donald Trump 2.0 that's just or like Carrie Lake or whatever. Like these Trumpy candidates that are pretty much only appealing to like not even the evangelicals at this point, just like Trump's
Right.
cult that he created.
But the thing is, the evangelicals are still in it for the abortion stuff.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, dude, even now Republicans aren't really saying I'm pro-life. Like the mainstream Republicans aren't saying I want to ban abortion in all 50 states. They're saying like, oh well, like 6 week ban. Like Ron DeSantis signed a 6 week ban in Florida. He's never talked about it on his campaign ever since because it's a deeply unpopular issue. Even
Yeah.
Republicans, even Catholics don't support a ban on abortion because like Catholics recognize that abortion is like a woman's health issue. It's a health issue, really. Like say what they'll say, they'll they'll virtue signal that like oh like I'm all against it, but like when it comes down to it, they're not gonna want abortion banned. Even men, like they're gonna want abortion to be legal, so then when
Right.
they like fuck their mistresses, they can get them aborted. or they can get their like
I agree.
out of the border. Okay, but anyway, I just think that there's a very real scenario where like we can take a look at the last two elections. Trump lost his reelection, and it wasn't even particularly close. The Republicans vastly underperformed in the midterms. The Republican Party looks like it's fucking falling apart like abysmally in this election cycle. You have them putting all of their eggs in Trump, and he's literally gonna like he's like been indicted like 700 times this year. Like I don't there's a pretty realistic scenario that he runs from prison. Like that's a realistic scenario. And what are they going to do then?
Yeah.
They're going to have to fucking support Trump because what are they going to do? Say like, "Oh, Trump's ineligible for running. He's ineligible for winning the primary cuz he's in prison, so we're supporting DeSantis." Like his supporters like 30% of the Republican base is always going to support Trump. Like he has.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like that is a huge problem the Republican Party has. Like, they're basically like beholden, held hostage by a base that is deeply unpopular
And
than everyone else. But it's like a very loosely held together coalition of people. These people don't actually even agree with each other.
the only thing tying them together is Trump. And so like to get those people's supports, you're going to have to talk Trump. You're going to have to be a Trump candidate. And I just
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just see a scenario where the Republicans lose election after election after election. And if that starts to happen, do we see the Trump radicals splitting off from the rest of the Republican Party, like corporate Democrats picking up more and more Republican voters, and then like a fracturing of the basically like corporate Democrats like incorporating the remnants of the Republican Party into the Democratic Party, and then the Democratic Party splitting up. I'm just wondering, like,
I mean, that would be interesting. Like the old school conservatives ending up on the same side as corporate Democrats. Here's the thing, though. No one in the country really wants to. No one in the country is really like I am like a corporatist person. Both parties are corporate, but neither party really wants to sells that. Like, there's no constituents that are like that, though.
I mean,
No constituents that are like, I want to vote for the party that represents my local Walmart or something. Like, that's not really a thing, right?
Like, isn't that the same thing? Like, oh, I'm voting for the candidate that says they're going to lower taxes.
Honestly, dude, I think no one really talks about lowering corporate taxes.
But isn't Reaganomics the literal definition of like?
No, I agree, but that's like no, that stuff's not popular anymore, dude. No one talks about that shit anymore.
I mean,
no one is like, I'm a fucking trickle down economics guy.
And he was like, I'm doing trumped up Reaganomics. He literally said, I'm doing trumped up Reaganomics, and I'm like,
but also like that doesn't mean people don't even know what they mean. Like that, that's like saying, oh, that's functionally the same thing as saying I'm handing out free pizza. Like no one knows what trumped up Reaganomics means besides like I hear Trump and I hear Reagan.
It's like people that took AP US history. But I just remember that. I'm like, why? Why would you say that? Like it's proven that Reaganomics doesn't work. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess people don't know what it means.
Oh yeah, like no one knows, but no one's actually talking about. No one's really selling like pro corporate messages anymore. It's all how do I capture populism? And Republicans are doing it in a bunch of disingenuous ways. Democrats are just bad at doing it. Democrats are just retarded. But that's the thing. Democrats are literally just retarded in every way possible.
Yeah.
So here we are. But like,
I don't know. It's just interesting to me that like
Democrats are just bad at actually being a populist party, despite the fact because they don't want to. I mean, if they really wanted to win, they would be supporting the working class in a million different ways that would be consistent with progressive platforms.
Yeah, dude,
you know, paid maternal leave, paternal leave, tax breaks, UBI, healthcare, unions, all this shit. But they don't want to.
When Joe Biden had the House and the Senate, and he still like got pretty much like nothing done, and was still like being super submissive to guys like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. It's like, dude,
Joe Manchin literally fucking rolled over like 75% of Biden's like what do you want to get done in that fucking
it's like
Inflation Reduction Act bill.
spine. I mean, Joe Biden, I think.
I mean, god fucking damn it, dude.
You know what's
The Democrats are so fucking incompetent. They're so fucking incompetent, and there's no good alternative. That's why I'm like, this debate is interesting because like, I do wonder if there's like some sort of political strategy we can come up with to break the two-party system, but like there really isn't.
Interesting to me that we're simultaneously seeing like what seems to be the self-destruction of the Republican Party and a pretty clear split where they're like the main establishment of the Democrats won't even do a primary with like progressive.
Won't even do a fucking primary. That's insane to me. Like, I don't know all. I don't understand. I really fucking hate this logic that a party weakens a presidential candidate coming out. Like a primary will weaken Biden because like there'll be debates.
It's really
That's fucking retarded. No one. That's never. I don't think that's ever panned out, dude. No one's gonna not vote for Biden as a liberal just because they hear other dudes on the debate platform. What are we talking about? Primaries are essential. They're the only like one of the few. The primaries are honestly some of the most like the most democratic part of our system. Why? Because the presidential election only has two options, neither of which are ever fully aligned with anyone who's voting. Primaries are where you actually affect your party's platform, where you're voting for people who most closely align with your views and influence the way the party's platform is progressing.
and even
The Democrats aren't even willing to have Democratic primaries. Like they basically just like they're already going to put their finger on the scale for whoever they want to win. They've done that time and time again. In my opinion, they stole the primary from Bernie Sanders against Hillary Clinton.
oh yeah,
We'll do that again if necessary. We'll do that again if necessary. There's no danger.
against Biden because Biden was when every candidate dropped out.
I mean, honestly, both. But no, against Hillary, they did a lot of shady stuff in the background too.
Yeah, I guess both then. I mean, dude.
I mean,
it's just so
but regardless, like you're gonna control who wins. Why are you so afraid of even having a debate? That is insane. Even having a debate is too much for you.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And then like, yeah. And then the only media that will allow like candidates like Marianne Williamson on is Fox News because they're trying to get her to say the dirty shit on Biden, pretty much. Trying to get her
Exactly.
to like badmouth Biden. Which it's just
You should have civilized,
so
good quality
fucked, dude.
primaries.
It's so fucked.
There's no reason. Like, this is the only aspect of our system that, in my opinion, is a truly democratic process where each individual of your party gets to influence the national platform.
I mean, it's just such a crazy.
Not having a
It's
platform,
such a crazy,
primaries.
like dichotomy that we're living in because it's like voting for the party that does nothing pretty much versus voting for the party that like wants to kill marginalized people and is doing active voter suppression. It's like, well, we don't do active voter suppression. We just don't want to have a primary. It's like, okay, I guess let's vote for you, but like so it just gets rid of all nuance in like your political expression.
I mean, I don't know, man. And no one's ever the thing like they were talking about is okay. We need the way we break out this. Eventually, we'll have ranked choice voting. We're never gonna have ranked choice voting if we only vote for the two parties in power. It's in neither party's interest to have ranked choice voting. Democrats would get steamrolled with ranked choice voting by all these third parties because they know that they're not satisfying anyone. They're even just only marketing themselves as the lesser of two evils options.
So okay,
that's all they have.
So did you watch that entire debate with Vosh and those guys?
I haven't watched all of it. I'm in the middle of it.
I understand their position because I feel like the null position is vote for the person you want to win. Like if there's two choices.
That they would agree, but no, they would agree with that. But they would say, okay, I want to vote for Cornel West because I want him to win. Their position is, if you live in a safe state, this is their position, which I'm not 100% sure who I agree with. I think they have a great point. if you live in a safe state, quote unquote, which I just said, safe state's kind of an iffy definition, but let's just say you live in a really safe state.
Okay.
You should vote for whoever a third party candidate who you like.
I guess
Or
that
whatever,
makes
basically
sense.
whatever candidate that actually most represents your views, because that'll get them over the 5% threshold, get them funding, get them debate access, blah, 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 blah,
So wait a second. They need a 5% threshold for what?
blah. I don't know how the system works. I think you need a 5% threshold to even appear on any ballots.
Oh, so they want you to write the person's name in?
I don't know. I don't exactly know what the relevance of the 5% threshold is. I know from prior knowledge that to get on some ballots, you need to cross some threshold. Also, to get on debate stages, like need to have some percentages,
5%
stuff like
like
that.
the state or like 5% of the
Dude,
party?
I don't actually know
It
the detail. I don't know.
to me it breaks down in the details. Like okay, you're basically doing a useless gesture. The only use that gesture is doing is pretty much
It's like a protest against the two-party system. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't actually do anything to stop the
doesn't
two-party
physically
system.
protest. The only thing your protest is
Well, it's a
doing is
visible
making
protest it's a visible protest. Also, part of their argument was like the Democrats will see, oh my God, we're losing votes to the Green Party or whatever the fuck Cornel West is part of. So, so that's a problem. So I should probably try harder to appease these people.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I'm not saying. Listen. I'm not saying I don't think that's going to get rid of the two-party system. Here's what I also think.
Democrats
I
already
think
want
continuously voting. I think continuously voting for the lesser of two evils options, which means continuously voting Democrat, which means continuously voting for a neoliberal party, over and over and over. Every election, this is going to happen, right? Every election is going to be one batshit crazy insane party that's like apocalyptic level threats, and one that's 1% better, which is a Democratic Party. We keep voting for the Democratic Party, nothing happens, we all die of climate change. I think I think the logic that Vosh has is kind of like nihilistic almost. Like Vosh is just like, whoa, this happens on a long scale in every election. Hey, look, we have to do the best we can, and the number one priority is keeping fascism at bay. Okay, I get all that, but like, this is just nihilism. Like, we literally can't do anything then. Nothing's ever gonna happen.
But I
That's
guess I still
beneficial.
don't really see the ultimate goal in the third party votes because let's say that 5% of the country or 5% of the voter base votes for the third party. They all write in the person's name and spell it correctly. The guy is now on the ballot or something. It's officially recognized as a third party. I don't know what that really entails.
I think on the national ballot they will appear. I think on the national ballot you always see like Green Party, this party, that party.
Yeah, so then I guess I
By
don't really understand what the 5% threshold is, but let's just say that's an important
it changes the Overton window. It gets some popularity, gets some publicity. It's just a
okay, so
slow
let's say
and
it's a
effectual,
threshold.
but
The people that are going to be voting for that are pretty much only going to be drawn from the Democratic Party. Like, I think that's a safe assumption to be made. Let's say that the Republican Party is
I
falling
would
off
agree.
so much that you can still safely draw away 5% of the vote to vote Green Party and the Democrats still win. So you're not really losing anything by voting for the Green Party. Like, I guess, like, do we. I just don't see how we can eventually have enough people voting for the Green Party to make it be an equivalent force to
Changes.
the other
It's a
two
threat. I
parties.
think it's a threat. I don't think I'm. I think I agree with them that it does something. It does something on several levels. One, it gets some fringe candidates more publicity to affect like the ideas in the public consciousness. The same way Bernie's campaign was really just a long shot campaign, but all of a sudden people were talking about single payer healthcare. They were
Yeah,
talking
but don't
about
people have to
free
vote for the third
colleges.
party for that?
No. I get what you're saying. First of all, if the Democratic Party isn't even going to have a primary, yeah, actually, we do need a third party for that. Second of all, the idea is that Democrats are going to see, okay, like I'm winning by lower and lower margins. Right? I need to make sure I win. Like, let me appease these people. It's like a threat almost.
I don't know, dude. Like, Democrats have been seeing that like Latino voters aren't voting for them as much. They're not really doing anything to appease them.
I
Maybe they're
mean,
like saying, "Oh, it's Taco Tuesday. Let me do a live stream where I eat tacos." Like that's their dude. Democrats are fucking stupid. I don't think that they're gonna like bend the knee to these voters that are voting green.
and that was part of Wash's argument, which is that the Democrats are just like not interested in winning. Democrats are not interested, which is like, okay, like what am I like? This is just nihilism, right? It's kind of nihilistic to just continuously vote Democrat.
I think it's
They're not
nihilistic
willing
though
to.
when like you cited an example that people were able to like support a more progressive candidate without actually
No,
voting
but that's
for
not
them.
happening if the Democrats aren't even going to have a primary.
Yeah, I know,
The
but like
Democrats are refusing to even have primaries.
primaries and in terms of polling data, like I think that's fine.
James, how? How can I express support for a socialist candidate or a democratic socialist and there's not even a primary for me to vote for that guy? At some point, it's like, yeah, I guess I'm just voting.
Do
Like,
polls.
exactly. That's why you need a third party.
Dude, when they say when they say there's not going to be a primary, I think there's still going to be a primary. They're just not going to like have debates and
No, there's literally not going to be a primary.
really.
There's no other candidate that they're putting up to represent the Democratic Party.
Dude, are you sure there's not even like a primary voting time
Yeah, dude.
officially? Like, how do we know? Let me look this up.
Like they're not doing it, man. I don't fucking know. Because they know like Biden's pretty unpopular among libs.
2024 Democratic presidential primaries. The Wikipedia page. Presidential primaries and caucuses are being organized by the Democratic Party to select the delegates to the 2024 Democratic National Convention to determine the party's nominee. The elections will take place in all 50 U.S. states, the District of Columbia.
I see polling data for
Incumbent
Biden
President
against
Joe Biden is running for re-election.
RFK and Marianne Williamson.
Other candidates include anti-vaccine activist. Dude, that's in the Wikipedia page.
But there's not actually going to be like I don't think his name's gonna. I don't even think there's gonna be a vote, dude. I'm pretty sure.
Well, dude, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't think they can say that we're just not gonna have a vote. I think that.
I don't know. Okay, then I'm confused about what these debaters. Then I'm confused about the debate then, because that's like part of their argument too.
I think when people say they're not gonna have a primary, it means they're not gonna do any of the pomp and circumstance of like putting their weight behind a candidate.
Okay, regardless, dude, like not having a debate, not even having a debate, not doing.
Not having a debate.
Okay, it's basically not having a primary
It's
anyway.
not the
But
same as not voting for people.
same as not voting. I mean, yeah. I don't exactly know. Then I don't exactly know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know what's going on now.
I just don't think they can simply say like we're not gonna have a primary. All right, here AP
Maybe they can
News: The
simply say.
Democratic Party promised to overhaul its primaries. Here, I'm gonna send you this link. See if this is anything good. What is this? What is this primary?
This is from 2023, or yeah. This is from. Or is this recent though?
I don't know.
One sec. Look at this. I assume July 2nd, so somewhat recent.
Apparently, the only primary challengers are Marianne Williamson and Robert F. Kennedy
Right.
Jr.
I know that.
I mean, dude,
I just think like at some point, if the Democrats are not willing to do anything about like existential crises, and yeah, we actually like do need to have some third party. Like it's really all that is, right? It's not like if you're not gonna do anything about climate change. The world is becoming unlivable, literally. Yeah, man. I mean, rent,
I mean, dude, I don't know how parties are created.
food,
Like, I'm
water.
sure there's research done on like the creation of viable political parties, but
I think it clearly you have to build up a candidate over time and like get them into the public consciousness by getting them votes, like
I
so
just
that
don't
people start
see like
covering them.
how going third parties a more viable strategy than like
And
going
using the,
through the
I think if the
Democratic
Democratic
Party.
Party is not willing to change, the Democratic Party is not willing to change at all. They're just continuously shoving neoliberal candidates down our throat.
Of
And
course, they're
yeah, I
shoving it
think
down our
like
throat, but I do think that you're seeing some change in the party with like more progressives being elected. I mean, I'm
are
just
we
saying
seeing
like
any
if we
change,
take
man?
a
I don't
look at
know. I
like
don't know if we're seeing change.
I mean, obviously you need primaries for this. The um you can't just always have like the establishment setting up candidates that they're like vote for this person or the Republican. Like you need primaries to be able to elect more progressive candidates, but like even in like local elections where it's not just presidential elections, I think that if we can have more progressives being elected to Congress, that's a good amount of change. I'm not saying that's happening now, but it could happen. And I think it's more reasonable to expect that to happen than a viable third party, because you have to think of it this way. This is the way I'm thinking of it. You have to simultaneously build a third party while also while the third party is being built to viability, you need to support the Democratic Party still, because like let's be honest, even if one Republican becomes elected president, they're going to undo all of like the incremental changes that the Democrats have done.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I just think I agree with you. That's why I'm saying my opinion is undecided on this topic. Once again, like it's just nihilism at some point to be like, well, the other option is worse, so I'm gonna vote for this option. I know it's not gonna work, but it's not worse than this option. I'm saying let's risk. At some point, you have to risk. You're better off losing for an actual option that solves the problem.
Well, I
Become
always
part of
think
the
it's
game.
interesting to see like do the politicians drive the voters or is it the other way around? And like also you can throw media in there, like is the media driven by its consumers or do the consumers drive media? Um so like if the voter base can somehow be vocal enough in like ask pushing for climate change legislation, will the
There's
Democratic
no
Party?
mechanism for the voters to be vocal when in a two-party system. No matter what
No, like
the Democratic Party does,
I know, but that's what I'm
we're
saying.
always going to vote for the Democratic Party.
Like
There's no mechanism for progressives or anyone really to effectuate change in your own party.
look at what people like Matt Walsh and other just like fundamentalists have done to the Republican Party, where you now have the second most popular presidential candidate saying that they're going to run on wokeness, like stamping out wokeness. Like what does that mean? I think we can actually take a look at how did that party get so fucked where it's
Dude,
literally
I
the
actually think in this sense, the Republican Party is more democratic than the Democratic Party. In this sense, the Republican Party actually listens to its constituents
well, that's what I'm saying.
and is
Like,
held hostage
how
by
is
its
how is
constituents.
the Republican Party that also has a like a vote red or die attitude? Like that attitude is alive and well in that
Oh,
party.
the Republican Party, Republicans won't turn up if Republicans won't turn up if they're not happy with the party. And Democrats basically feel like they have to turn because we do have to turn up.
But we
It's
have been
like
seeing a drop in voter in like minority voters, like Hispanic voters have been dropping in the Democratic Party. I don't
and
know if
maybe
you know
that'll
why.
change the Democratic Party's mind eventually. But like, problem is if they're winning comfortably simply by saying, "Oh, I know you hate Biden. I know he's wildly unpopular amongst the Democratic Party." But like, look at the other option. If that's all they have to do to win, then there's no incentive for them to change.
It's just so interesting to me that it's like, because I agree with you. It's like the Democrats don't really give a shit about their voters, but how do you have
It
the
doesn't give a fuck.
Republicans like coddling the balls of the
I
most
know.
extreme
This is,
evangelical?
but part of it is that the Republicans are losing. I mean, it's easier to get them to coddle the balls of their constituents when they're losing and they're
It is,
desperate for votes.
but like DeSantis,
When they're winning,
I don't know, dude. It's just crazy how like it's crazy that like it's like yeah, you're right. Like more grassroots on the Republican side, where it's like it feels like it's a more
it actually
direct
is, yeah.
response from what the voters want to what the politicians are doing. And the Democrats, it's like just throwing a fucking coin into the ocean and hoping it like has a ripple effect.
I mean, seriously, yeah.
That's kind of funny. That's funny. That's a funny way to think about it. Should like write a video or something on that. The title is like Republicans are more democratic than the Democrats.
They actually are in this sense. In this sense, they really are. And this is something Vosh has talked about too, and I think a bunch of people talk about actually, and I just completely agree. Like, I mean, yeah, they are. Man.
I mean, it
I don't
makes sense.
exactly know why. I do think part of it's like they're losing and they're desperate for votes and they have a really fragile coalition and they need to eke out the best they can. I think part of it's that the party is kind of tumultuous right now. They're looking for a new leader, and so it's just a bunch of people competing for like but once again they're actually having to compete for votes. On several levels, they're having to compete for votes versus the Democratic Party, which doesn't.
It's true.
Protect the party decides which candidate they want and they shove it down our throats no matter what we do. Yeah, like there's no incentive. Like part of what rubs me the wrong way is I have no leverage over you when this is how you behave. I have no leverage over your platform when you're not giving me any options to vote amongst.
I mean, dude, it is crazy that like Bernie Sanders was so wildly popular, and we've had Obama twice, then Hillary Clinton, and then Joe Biden. It's it's like a fucking
Yeah.
cesspool.
Successful, dude. Seriously, it really is. Like I don't know, man. It's just depressing. I mean, it's and one thing they say in this video too, which I agree with, is it's been really depressing seeing the dissipation of like energy and push for things like single payer, UBI, and things that were like right square in the middle of the national discourse only a few years ago, and are now just like now we're like begging for $10,000 off of our student loans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You realize how little money that really amounts to compared to single payer
Yeah,
in terms of your lifetime spending? You
yeah.
realize how like
It's like
how
literally
sad it is that we can't even get $10,000 forgiven in federal owned loans?
okay, dude. I have
It's
a theory on
crazy,
that. You know
dude.
how Biden's like, oh, this is gonna take longer because we're doing it through this way, and it has to like
Oh
turn
yeah,
over
they're leveraging it for the election.
yeah, they're just leveraging. It's gonna be like forgiven
That's
like
fair.
3 months before the election.
Or they hold it over people's heads and say vote for me.
No, I think he's gonna get it done. I mean, I
So
hope so. Um, just because like
I
that
mean,
would be
I think that's a pretty fair theory. I could see that. I
it's
mean, because the Biden has another way to do it unilaterally. So like, yeah, it wouldn't be surprising.
yeah, dude. One thing Hassan says that I find funny is like how Joe Biden's insistence on like appearing like he's reaching across the aisle and working with Republicans and like working with Joe Manchin and like oh I'm like a guy who gets it and I can work with people. I'm a career politician. Like I pride myself on that. Like Hassan's like he just does it for the love of the game. He's like people a lot of politicians do it for like the payout and like a book and stuff. Joe Biden's just in it for the love of the game. He just loves like screwing over voters and being a corporatist.
mean, he literally described himself as a capitalist in the State of the Union. I mean, he's very. He's never running as a progressive.
Yeah. I mean, has Joe Biden's presidency exceeded my expectations? Honestly, it has.
Yeah, I think it has for me.
Could it be better? Yeah, definitely. In a lot of ways. Have you listened to like Marianne Williamson's talks with people? She's talked with a lot of
She was on Vosh a bit, so I listened to that.
dude. There's no way she's gonna win.
I mean, there's no way these people are going to win. And the thing is, right now I don't care much because I don't even like many of the third party candidates or like alternative candidates, even like both like Cornel West or Marianne Wilson. I don't like that much. I don't care much, but and so like I probably wouldn't even vote third party this election anyway, unless like I don't know. Even if I like, really thought it was a good idea in concept, but like yeah, no, I mean Marianne Williamson is kind of a lunatic. Well, no, like I don't mind. I don't care at the end of the day, but.
Voting third party though. Do you think it's possible that like Democrats are seeing that? Oh, there's. I mean, okay, forget about polling. Let's talk only about the metrics of how many votes they get. If Democrats are like, oh, I'm winning more and more comfortably, like last election I won 52 with 52 points. This election I'm winning with like 56 points. Do you think there's a chance that they become more progressive? They're like,
No, why would they become more progressive? Why would they? The Democratic Party. This is the game the Democratic Party plays. How much money can I be lobbied for by my corporate interests
that's true.
while staying in power? And they're balancing representing the corporations who they're really ultimately caring for, and paying lip service to the constituency that they're trying to get votes from. If they're winning more and more easily, the constituency, that's more and more of their platform, and not even their platform, but their energy and their actual work they do devoted to the representing the corporations who give them money.
Dude, speaking of corporate money involved, Majority Report did a story on. Well, it wasn't even a story. It was that same guy, Ryan Grimm, that's from Breaking Points, that is like in the lab leak theory rabbit hole. So he's crazy on that. But they were talking about how Israel leverages like they basically just influence Democratic candidates, and they literally write their position on Israel. So you know how Congress just had a vote that like Israel isn't racist or isn't an apartheid state.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
They literally had a vote that's like they had a referendum on like, is Israel a racist country? And they're like, no, it's not. And then I think another part of the referendum was USA will always be allied with Israel no matter what. It's just like fucking insane shit like that. But the interesting thing is, so there's like this Israeli super PAC that basically goes against progressive candidates, and they're like, we'll write your stance on Israel for you, and if you don't let us, then we're going to support a more corporatist candidate, and we'll like throw millions of dollars behind him. And so like John Fetterman literally
Christ, dude,
write his position on it. And like the thing is, they don't even it's not even costing them any money because it's simply the threat of it.
Yeah.
And so then you get all of these. It's like the one bilateral issue that Republicans and Democrats agree on, and it's so fucking.
The one bipartisan agreement is let's support a fascist dictator.
I know, dude, it's crazy. It's so nuts.
And the genocide of Palestinians. Dude, fucking disgusting, man. Holy shit.
I gotta hang up because I'm getting depressed. But one last thing that I thought
it is depressing. It's depressing, dude. It's just fuck this country, dude. Actually, I'm just trying to survive. Can I just survive through my lifetime? Some fresh water. Thank you very much.
The one thing I found hilarious was David Pakman His videos have been being recommended to me. He has this video where like he has this like young guy interviewing Trump supporters, and this one Trump supporter was completely nuts, and he's like, he was just like spewing random bullshit, and then he's just like, and we're using way too much money to in our presidential campaigns. If we just taxed like 50% of the money being spent on campaigns, we could solve homelessness. And then we're like, oh shit, like that's actually a good point. It's just so funny, like how he just randomly came up with a really good idea in the midst of
Taxing.
conspiracies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Funny as hell, yeah.
All
Alright, sounds good, man.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.